Welcome, everyone, to Chirping Zebras, episode 69, the Shoresy episode, and that is apropos because of our guest tonight, and we'll see who that is in a second. Mark Riley, alongside Geno, Binda Jr., as always, coming to you from AOA Studios in Beverly, best place to tape anything you want to tape. And we have Cam, we have Mike, and we have Josh Dolan in the house tonight, which is very exciting. A rare Josh Dolan sighting in Beverly. I want to thank our sponsor off the hop, the Referees Crease, your one-stop shop for all your refereeing needs. And also want to remind you to like and subscribe. Smash that like and subscribe button on YouTube and follow us on all those socials. We got the Instagram, we got the Facebook, and of course,
the TikTok.
We're out there. So find us on all those at chirpingzebras.com. You can get your merch. You're wearing our nice T-shirt tonight.
The zebra with the zebras?
Zebra with the zebras, right on. And you got the special hat that we might do at some point.
Yeah.
That was a kind of a miss hit in golf that got the green. So
I think
it's
a
a nice one. So find us there too. Find us everywhere. Now I got to right up before we start. Next week I'll be in Alaska. I'm doing the Sac Tapper Moose Tour.
Next week.
Well, this will drop. When this drops, it'll be next week.
Yeah, I'm not following. Keep up. I should have had 2 pieces of smart gum.
Yeah, you should have. You didn't chew it long enough. But no, I'm the Sac Tapper Moose Tour, and if you're wondering where that came from, episode 23, Travis Jackson from Anchorage. He was here, and we talked about different things that are Alaskan, and one of which is moose.
He's a referee up there.
He's a referee up there that had a viral
He always
video.
took care of me when I was up there.
Well, he's taking care of me, too. And I'm going to do a show in Kenai. Found out that's how you say it. Kenai on July 9th. And then July 12th, Eagle River with our buddy Stevie Glines at Odd Man Rush Brewing.
You should make your way up to Wasilla.
Well, I'm going up to see the bears grab the salmon.
Oh, all right.
Jumping out of the river. And I'm going up there.
Make sure you run faster than everybody you're with.
I just got to run faster than the guy filming me.
Yeah,
that's it. And but I got T-shirts here. I finally got them hot off the press from our buddy Chris McMullen down at Cyrus 11. He does all our merch. We get the Sac Tapper Moose T-shirt, the tour,
awesome.
And it's got the dates, and it's got the moose that I'm going to whack in the nuts. And I'm getting video proof, by the way. I'm getting video proof, and I'm going to find an eagle that's the size of one of those Oompa Loompas from that movie, and I want to see that thing take down something. But I'm going to do everything Alaska, and so
very good.
You can check me out there if you're in Alaska. We got to have listeners up there.
Oh, we do.
Oh, we definitely.
There's 3 referees up there.
Well, there's 3. Maybe we'll get 5 after my trip.
All right.
So without further ado, as I mentioned, it's apropos. I wanted to use that word twice. That's a 25-cent word. That this is episode 69. That Shoresy wears number 69.
Yep.
And our guest, you can see him on Shoresy.
Yes, you can.
Right, and also from, of course, the mildly popular Spittin Chiclets.
Yep.
Right? Brian McGonagle, otherwise known as Rear Admiral or RA. Brian, welcome to the show, man.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. I know it's been a long time coming, but here I am, and I'm looking forward to shooting the shit with you boys.
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, no,
Thanks
this is
for
going to be
coming.
great. Now, right off the hop, Shoresy, how fun is that show to do?
It's a blast, man. It's an absolute blast. When they reached out a few years back, they got in touch with our producer, Grinelli, and I don't know if I'm assuming they asked Bizzle first because they, trickled down to me somehow, and I went up. And when you're making something like that, you don't have any idea how it's going to turn out or what you're doing. But I love the improv aspect of it. Like the night before, I mean, I didn't realize I was in scene 1, episode 1 of this brand new show until the night before. I was like, I should have probably read it a little closer. I started shitting my pants. I was like, oh man, I ain't got to remember all this. And one of the other castmates, Fish. He come in and it's like, listen, he's not gonna tell you. He's gonna tell you don't have to memorize. It's not like a David Fincher movie. You got to remember every piece of dialogue. He's like, just read it and make it your own. I was like, so I could write my own lines. He's like, yeah. So some of the jokes I wrote actually made it into the show. So I love that aspect.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
As an English major nerd, but it's a blast. Just putting it together, seeing it comes out. And I'm a tiny part of it, but the popularity of it has just been great. I think the ratings for the first episode were better than any episode Letterkenny ratings ever had.
Yeah,
like that first one, and just the people, the crew is so great. They're so professional. Terry Ryan, Dolo, all the castmates. We get to hang out a little bit afterwards. Bruins, and they're a blast. But I can't say enough about Jared Keefe. So Canadians by far terrific people. Anyways, but he's awesome, dude. He's the genuine article. He writes, directs, produces, show runs, and I don't never seen the dude mad. He's just wicked chill. He's very encouraging as well. He sent he's not pandering. He's not kissing your ass. He sends very nice messages after how my work was, and I really get to hope I can work with him on something else down the line because he's a special dude.
Yeah, he was. So I got to referee the game with the cast of Shoresy where you coached. Played the Bruins alumni.
Coached, yeah.
Yeah. Change them up.
Yeah.
And, I think you were better than Sanguinet. I'm just going to say that. But if you haven't watched, by the way, Shoresy or Letterkenny on Hulu,
they're hilarious.
Just absolutely fantastic shows. And Jared was so cool. Josh and I went over and hung out with him after the game. He came out of the locker room. We were talking. And just a down to earth, like during the game, all the guys were just having a blast, and it was just really cool because you could see the camaraderie, the chemistry, everything. You could see it live and in person, and you see it on the show. So it was kind of like a neat little thing to see on both sides.
A good chemistry, yeah.
Oh, it was incredible. All those guys are cool, though.
Exactly, and they spend so much time with each other too. Because they're the core of the show, and and sometimes those days get long and repetitive and boring, and keeping your attention can be tough. But it's almost like a family bond too. And what's funny is the interchange, like you were just saying, like it's not much different than the show, and they all call each other like it could be their real first name or their show name. It's like all like sort of interchangeable, which is funny. And my mother, she was there that night. I don't think she's seen me 5 minutes of an episode, which whatever. She's an old boomer, but she was like, "Why are they cheering for the Bruins?" To my friend, she's like, "Susan, that's why they're here because of this TV show." So we met Jared before the game, and I've never saw my mother starstruck before. Like she's not much of a TV, and she never doesn't even watch because Jared came up because he was had his hockey pants on, but no shirt on, and he's pretty buff. I see my mother get googly eyed, but I was like, "Pipe down there, Cougar. Will you just say hello and get moving?"
Keep it moving.
That's all. I think Josh had the same reaction when he saw Jared. I'm pretty sure. But now, I have to ask this question.
Sure.
Anik Ashambo, who hosts Bro Dude Energy Questionable Call, which is your segment on the show. She's so hot. Is she as hot in person as she is on TV?
She's very beautiful in person and on TV, and she's a great gal too. I've got to hang out with her a couple times, and she's, like I said, like all the Canadians, she's just a good shit. I actually took one of those long shuttle rides too with her, and yeah, she's a good egg, and I think she lives out in California now. So looking forward to getting back up there and filming more scenes with her, hopefully soon.
I know that was probably a creepy question, but
that's what we do here.
Canceled. Chirping Zebras is now canceled.
We haven't swore yet, I don't think.
We joke. Well,
let's fucking do it.
I love it. Fucking go.
I always joke. I say I want to get famous enough for people to try to cancel me. That's what I want. So there you go, Anik. If you want to cancel me, feel free. So now, obviously, Spittin Chiclets. Just absolutely blew up.
Yeah.
So, and you and a former guest, episode 13, Ryan Whitney, was on. You guys, where did this come from?
It's like the most organic thing you can imagine. I guess it goes back to like 2006, 2007 when I became the Bruins blogger for Barstool Sports. It's funny. It's just funny how life plays out. Like this is very early in Barstool's, the paper come out in 2003, and then the blog come out, I want to say 2006, 2007. And there was a Bruins kid, that's funny, I remember his name because he was kind of my Wally Pip, I guess, Justin Rebello. And he wrote a blog, and he referred to Glenn Murray as a playmaker. And this was when Barstool was all just Boston, all Boston-centric. Right. And it's funny, the only time I ever got a comment, the name was Barstool, because everything was like very, very Boston-centric, Bruins stuff. And the comment section basically revolted. This was the comment section was like decent and funny and whatever. They actually revolted, and Dave's like, I gotta let you go, buddy. They don't because he called Glenn Murray a 40-goal scorer. He was like more like a Cy Young record than a playmaker. So this is how long ago it was. Dave's headline was literally need new Bruins blogger, send samples to Portnoy at BarstoolSports.com, whatever. So Bruins played Buffalo, I think that night. I wrote a blog, sent it in. Typical Dave fashion, no reply. Then a couple hours later, boom, it's like, the front page of the blog. And, as a journalism major, English major nerd, that's like getting on the front page, of the Herald,
that's
Post
awesome.
or whatever.
So he just put it up.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, didn't say, "Hey, I like it. What do you want to, use for your name?" Blah blah blah. He just slapped it up like, "All right, I guess I got the gig, right?" And he used my what do you call it? The name, which is an old college nickname. That's another story. Maybe we could say that for the next episode. But I used that Rear Admiral as a nickname only because like 15 guys maybe at college like knew about or called me that. So they all went on the site. So it was basically, I was like a joke by proxy. So when my friends went on and saw a comment by Rear Admiral, they would know, oh, that's Magoo making a joke. That was like, I used my college nickname because very few people knew it. But then when Dave took the blog, he didn't even, say you want to use a different name, whatever. He just used my commenter name, and that's how that stuck. So anyways, I know it's kind of a long story, but so I was doing that for 06 to 07, like till whatever, 2015, 2016. Now I knew of Whit. I didn't ever, grow up with him or nothing, but I bumped into him a few times, before Bruins games, have a couple of pops. I seen him up Saratoga, and he was probably the first, athlete, celebrity Barstool fan, from the jump. He was huge on Barstool early, and, he's like, I like your shit. He'd been reading my stuff, so, we had a familiarity there. And like I said, we weren't like boys or nothing, and then he was done his career with the Russia, done there with the Sweden. Sweden was his last stop, and he come home, and it was, I want to say, December 20th, maybe 21st of 2015, he puts out the infamous tweet, hey, looking to start one of these podcast things to talk about A, B, and C, and tag Biz. And Biz, what do you think? He tagged Biz, and Biz said, I got a couple more years left, check back. And I replied, kind of half joking, half shooting my shot, a partner, eh? And 10 seconds later, what was in my DMs, he's like, are you serious, Ari? I was like, that's a fucking heart attack, bro.
No
he's
shit.
Like, you know how to podcast? I said, I'll fucking learn. And by the Super Bowl, we had our first episode out. Now, there's no infrastructure. It's like I would record it on GarageBand, send it to an intern who would compress it or do whatever. Then, we were like SoundCloud rappers, basically, or like Wade and Garth on the couch. They'd upload it, and then we did, you're not getting paid whatever. You're just humping away. And it was, an hour a week. It wasn't we weren't laying fucking brick or anything. And then after maybe 10, 12 episodes, Dave's like, hey, well, listen to the show. We want to, add you guys to Barstool. And, then you kind of partner up with them, and then, they kind of handle all the infrastructure, the ad stuff. And then eventually, when the ads come in, that's when the moolah starts coming in. But even then, I was a Boston public school custodian at the time, because you fucking need insurance in this country. And I was doing it mostly for that. The pay sucked, but I was like, I hated what I did, but this was a dynamite side gig. Like those first few years, me and Whit, I felt like I went to law school with the fucking hourly wages we were getting. And then we were humming along. It was like, Whit's loaded already, so it was easy money for him. It was like a nice side gig for me. It was kind of build it up. And then, we had Biz on once or twice. Those early shows, oh boy, he'd probably get fucking canceled now if he said this shit today. Although then again, Biz might be uncancelable. So
if anyone is, I think it's him.
He might be.
I think it's Biz.
Too. So we kind of brainstormed and we're like, hey, should we ask Biz if he wants to join? It wasn't like if he says no, there was no plan B or whatever. It was just like we honed in on Biz, and he was fucking psyched to join. And he had way more vision. Like I said, I was going, going through a fucking shit in life, a shitty marriage, shitty job, whatever. I wasn't even thinking fucking long-term business plans. I'm just trying to get through the fucking day, and Biz saw the real potential there, and then we added him, and then that's when we really took off. And I don't sound arrogant, but I make the analogy sort of like me and Whit won a title. Me and Whit were number one, just the two of us. And then when Biz came, he made us a dynasty. That's the kind of analogy I make. And then we were all it's been a rocket ship since then, man. It's just been crazy. The people I've met and interviewed, the friends I have, the names on my phone, I kind of laugh at every once in a while. I'll show my buddies from home, but it's been an adventure. Something I didn't dream of it because podcasts weren't a freaking thing 15 years ago,
Right,
so,
right.
But it's been a life changer, and I'm grateful for everything that's happened with it.
It's such a great story because it's like. That story is so awesome because you just started just because, hey, fuck it, we'll start a podcast. What the hell is that? And next thing you know, you're the number one podcast in the world.
And I tell you, probably not the guy to be giving advice to young kids, but I do tell them, like, if you do nothing, nothing happens. Because everybody, kids come up to you, give me a job, boss. I'll say, well, doing what? What are you? Tell me what you're gonna do. Like, because I can't get a fucking job, and I'm playing a role there. I'm like, that because that's what important or any boss. Like, you got to do it, and then they'll hire you. They're not gonna hire you on potential. But I tell them nothing happens if you do nothing, because like all those years I was writing the Bruins blog, and it was pro bono, as it were. Dave, I love Portnoy. He's very direct. He said, probably the blog's yours as long as you want it, but I'm never hiring a Bruins guy. And to his word, he never did. He's a Sox guy, sells Pats, but he kept his word. But by doing that writing, I was still thinking I might get a newspaper job back then, or even a website before Barstool really blew up. And I was kind of inadvertently sort of auditioning for Whitney in a way, because he read all my shit all those years. So when I said a pod, he jumped right in. So it's like, all right, he knew I knew my shit. I'm not an X's and O's guy. I never pretended to be, but he knew right away. I'll pair up with this kid because I've been reading him for all these years. So it's like sometimes you might be you think you're working on one thing, but all that work kind of leads somewhere else. So but bottom line, if you do nothing, nothing happens. No,
100%, we agree with that.
Absolutely.
And what's cool is because Jerry Thornton.
My boy JT, love him.
One of the greatest. He was on too, and in his story, like he told the story. He just what was he like the third employee or something?
Yeah, right.
And he just figured, I'll try it. And next thing you know, he's part of this massive empire. Really,
court officer. He was a court officer for 20-something years, writing blogs underneath the judge, like she wasn't looking or whatever. And hustling, he was able to get to a point where he was able to retire from that job and stay at Barstool. And Dave likes loyalty, and I think Jerry started before me, but technically he left for EI for a while. So it's like for consecutive tenure, it's like Dave, like me, and like Jerry. I've been there 20 years almost with him. So just hope I ride it till the fucking AARP starts knocking.
That's how
that'll be good.
My brother-in-law Mike Dussault, he works for the Patriots. He writes and he's on the pre and post game show with Perillo and that. Like that's what he did. He just started a blog about the Patriots, as Pat's propaganda.
Yeah. Okay.
And he would just do that because he loved it. Like he just did it for fun. And then he would get the Pats would reach out to him and he would get like tickets to a game and like give out all this shit at the fucking parking lot and like, here you go. And then all of a sudden he moved back to Boston for a year or so, got him refereeing for me to make some dough. And then, like all of a sudden got that job opened up and jumped all over it. It was just like, now he works for the team he loves. And like you said, if he wasn't doing all that blogging beforehand, there was big names that went for that job that work in Boston in the radio and all that kind of shit. And, but he just had a passion for it. And then, they liked his stuff. He's a real good writer. He worked for like 2.5 Men and that kind of stuff out in L.A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like he's a good writer, really good. He's an awesome read too. Like all his shit's like I'm not a big reader, but like when I read his stuff, I'm like, all right, pretty good. I can get through this. Yeah, it's and I understand it.
The internet's sort of like the ultimate meritocracy in a lot of ways.
Yeah, you're right.
If your shit's good, then people flock to it at a certain point. So.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully they flock to the Zebras.
That's what we're hoping. Pat Shea, another one that I just thought of.
Oh, yeah.
Pat started vlogging in college when he was playing at UMaine and didn't want to play Coast League and, get the shit beat out of him for a couple of years to make nothing, and decided to go the acting and
I hope Full Ride goes as big as Shoresy, because we were on the first episode of that.
If you haven't seen Full Ride on YouTube, please go watch it. It's hilarious. Pat Shea is awesome, and if Hulu or I don't know, Netflix
anybody else is listening,
fucking PBS, we don't give a shit.
BT.
We just need it getting picked up.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I love it that we're such whores.
Yeah.
However we can get there. But it's cool how those kind of things parallel with so many people.
Right.
Now, what was your dream job when you were in college? Like to work for a newspaper or to write for?
Yeah, basically. I went to college undeclared. I never called myself, or I wrote one paper in high school, like legit. I went to Columbus and the North End. They used to call it Charlestown High with a tie, basically. It was all like just Menace City kids thrown out of other schools. I love it. I had a ball in high school, but I didn't go to college. Actually, you know what? I want to be a lawyer. That's right. I went to Northeastern first, like back then. Okay. But I grew up watching like Dan Fielding on Night Court, and like Arnie Becker on LA Law. I was gonna be like a scumbag defense attorney lawyer.
Yeah.
But I went to Northeastern right out of high school, 90, 91. But I was taking the fucking Orange Line to like Roxbury, and I'm like, dude, I grew up watching Animal House, Revenge of the Nerds, like Back to School. This ain't college, like, because you're a commuter, you know.
Right.
You're not hanging out with like. I went to like one party the whole year. You know, it wasn't college, and I was miserable, and the class load was fucking tough. I'm like, maybe free laws a little light. Maybe we'll just go fucking undeclared for a bit. So I actually quit April my freshman year. You know what's crazy too? You don't have to graduate from a place to be considered an alumni. So. Like, I don't call myself a Northeastern alumni because I sound like an asshole. I quit freshman year, but
you gave him money.
Too much. So that was my original thing, and then I was bumming around working. What else? Driving a fucking van for like a year and a half. And I kind of, in Charlestown, you kind of get a sort of a crossroads. Not so much now, but when I was younger, it's either, all right, kid, you're gonna fuck around the street. You're gonna go in the military. You're gonna go to college.
Right.
And I was like, I'm going to try to go back to school because, like, none of my grandfather's grandchildren, I would be the first to graduate on that side of the family. And my other option was go in the Air Force and become a veteran and get on the Boston Fire Department. That's what my dad did. He was a fireman for 30 years. So, basically I had a rigged hiring game in Boston. I'm not like to say like white guy complaining over here, but like it was the game was rigged through the court order. So like that's why if you were like a white kid in Boston,
good luck.
You had to do 4 for Uncle Sam because you're guaranteed veteran status. Then therefore you would get veteran preference on the test. And so 90% of the dudes I know in the fire department are all veterans. So that was like, okay, if I don't get financial aid, then Air Force, I'll go with my buddy Jamie. We'll go be firefighters after. But fortunately, I got a boatload of financial aid. So I was like, North Adams State, here I come. And I did 4.5 years there. Like I said, undeclared. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I took intro to journalism. And I always had a knack for it. I was reading the Herald when I was like 5 years old. I always had a knack for that, like that type of shit. And intro to journalism. Then my buddies work on the school paper. It was easy credits. Like, dude, you get 6 credits, like write 1 article a week. And then my sophomore year, I was editor of the school paper, like a co-editor with another buddy. And when you get that, you think, oh, it's just a rinky-dink college paper. But it's like, no, man, like you got a fucking huge voice here because teachers don't get advisors. Like the students had final say on what went on that front page, and you realize how words sway and how much you can manipulate and like put the angle on everything. And it was a great like fucking lesson. And then I did a semester by myself as editor-in-chief, which was probably a little ego involved. Also, my schedule was 1 class ice skating. That was it. I had fucking because I was getting 12 credits for being
ice
editor.
skating.
Yeah, I had to take 2 gyms, so I was getting 12 credits for being editor-in-chief, and I was taking like 1 class, like a gym class. But it was probably awesome. 2 months that semester, and that's how I really was like, okay, I kind of got a knack for this. I kind of liked writing. I wouldn't say I love it, like. But I liked it, and all my advisors and teachers like, hey, you should try to get into this field. So that's how I kind of got pushed into that direction.
Very cool.
I wish I loved writing, but like, what's her name? Nora Ephron, like writer. She said the hardest part about writing is writing. It's like the best quote ever about it.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we all.
Right.
I mean, and especially right. That went where I didn't want it to go as a comedian. But it's true. Like if you love to write, you write. If you don't, you fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, because
I get emails from coaches all the time, and I call them. I can't email back. I'm like, I'm not answering all these fucking questions. I was like, I'll call you.
Well, it's too hard to type fuck in between every word.
That's true
why.
too. Yeah. That's not. Yeah, I can't.
Say it.
Yeah.
But it was. I mean, what was tough though is, I graduated in '97, but nobody saw this like fucking giant steam train that was coming down. It was going to pulverize the industry, which was the internet. Like, I'm sure some nerds out there wondered about it, but people thought newspapers were going to be around forever. And now, so I graduated. I'm trying to get a job in this industry where fucking things are dying daily. So, but I didn't exactly like hit the ground. I wasn't like Gordon Gekko. I graduated, got to get the suit on. I graduated college. I was like, fuck that. I'm not going to bounce for the summer. Worked a bartender. I was like, I just kept the party going. Basically,
yeah.
I was like. I'll get responsibility when I find it later. But so like I'll bartended this job, that job, and just I had a little side gig. Like no, I wasn't not selling drugs or anything, but I had a little side gig that helped finance my vacations and whatnot. Basically like it was a futures market. Guys would say, hey, I think this result's going to happen tonight, and if they were right or wrong, they would like a stock kind of thing. So. kind of like that.
A futures market. That's the best way.
Sports-based futures market.
Yeah, the predecessor to
before they had
DraftKings,
apps for it,
right?
So I was just dilly-dallying from bumming around, and I didn't really have like a ton of initiative. I was just kind of, whatever. I kept the writing thing going with Dave and whatever. I was just when something pops up, but I was just really going with the flow. I definitely wasn't like looking to hit the ground and wear a fucking suit and briefcase and worry about making $1 million.
Right.
So
I think a lot of successful people don't think that way. I sure didn't. Not that I'm successful yet, but that's all right. Yeah. It must have been cool as a kid growing up in Charlestown. Bruins fan, right? You grew up bleeding black and gold.
Yeah.
And then you end up blogging about it on a regular basis. That's got to be cool.
It was awesome. And I tell people, I was at when the Bruins won it in '72. They clinched it at Madison Square Garden, but they played games 1, 2, and 5 at Boston Garden. And I tell people I was there. My mother was 9 months pregnant. I was born May 24th, and I think they clinched May 15th. So I tell people, my mother's out there, probably gas and bears, I'm sure. It was 72. I was in there. I just had obstructive view, though.
That's awesome.
So when I was born, basically, I gestated the whole 71, 72 Bruins season, the legendary Bobby Orsi, big bad Bruins. And my parents had season tickets. So, I was just born into Bruins fandom, and tortured by the Canadians as kids. And, and tickets were tough back then, like late 70s, early 80s. And if, my grandmother would get us tickets every Christmas. And, if we would get Canadians tickets, even though they were going to dummy the Bruins, it was just a treat to see Guy Lafleur and Kenny Dryden, Steve Shutt, Larry Robinson. It's like you just, you fell in love with the game going to them all the time. Now, as far as playing, I get gifts here and here, but I couldn't skate for shit. My brother, 2, 3 years old, off like a wizard, man. Just the natural gift. Me, ankle burner, fucking 3 fucking milk crates, a walker or whatever. It just wasn't happening. All I needed was probably a lesson, but I don't think it really would have helped. So playing was ice hockey not my bag, but that's where I got thrown in. Little brother, so they need a street hockey goalie. So that was the only really competitive hockey I played. At competitive meaning local leagues and intramurals, but I still I loved the game. Always played it. Always watched it, and I was fortunate, too, to be in Vancouver when they clinched it in 2011.
Sick.
That was funny. That was the first year I had a press pass, too, 2010, 2011. And I had for Game 7. So once I went to 7, going out to Vancouver, being there, partying in the locker room with the boys after. It was wild.
That's crazy.
And actually, Marchand obviously just won another one.
Yeah.
He was sitting there with Sagan, and I did it last second, this white trash Viva La Stool sign I made, and I walked behind Shirelli was on live TV, photobombed, but I gave it to Marchand. He's holding up in the locker room after the Bees won it in 2011. So I was a lot of cool shit like that.
Oh, that's
cool.
awesome.
And even the Tim Thomas thing, the Conn Smythe interview, I had no idea it was being live because those rooms are tiny, the media rooms. And he was sitting there, and nobody was asking. I was, it's any message for the fans back home? And I was like, you want it? You got it. We're bringing it home. It was we're bringing it home. This ultimate fucking dynamite quote. It was on ESPN and shit. I had no idea it was live home, and my phone was international. Wasn't getting any text, whatever. Then I come home, Portnoy had a big blog up, because I was this is Brian McGonagle, Barstool Sports back home. It's been this sort of Barstool law. I was like, holy fuck! I didn't realize everybody back home caught that live when it happened. So just that was a great time. It helped put Barstool on the map a little bit, legitimize them somewhat. Just kind of as we were trying to elbow space in that atmosphere.
That's really cool.
That's an unbelievable story.
Yeah, good shit. But Terry O'Reilly was probably my first favorite Bruin, though. Taz,
Okay.
Yeah.
Taz was on
Taz was
one of the
awesome.
episodes with David Jensen.
Okay.
Yeah, he came on, and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yeah, it was hard. That's where you first heartbreak. Well, the Sox in '78 too, but those the Lunch Pail AC crew, they were so goddamn good. But they lost 2 Stanley Cups, done too many men in the ice. '79, man, that shit. Those guys. It's okay. Nearly comes along, breaks the jinx.
Right.
Owns Patrick Waugh. All that shit.
Right.
I definitely get me hot over the Bruins over there.
Let's go.
We actually, we've had 2 Canadians on. We had Chris Nyland,
the best,
obviously, right?
Yeah,
one of the best.
Love Knucks.
Awesome, and John Newberry, old school, and I love the way he was throwing around Guy Lafleur and this and that. And it's you're naming people that are in the Hockey Hall of Fame like they're nothing. That was really cool.
Big Z got in today.
Yeah, Big Z got in.
Z got in.
Yeah, Joe Thornton. McGillney finally, and
Yep.
Duncan Keith. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shit.
No, that's a pretty good
That's
class.
a good class.
Right?
speaking of chirping zebras, man, like fucking, they were getting pummeled this playoffs, dude. The fan bases cry so goddamn much. Like, no Bruins this year. It was neutral. I'm like, I mean, obviously there's going to be a missed call here, but like people cry. Like
it's unbelievable.
It's conspiracy theories. It's like, dude, people. I'm worse than ever. No shit, Brian, like on the internet, but it's like like this playoffs. So it was like the whining was fucking out of control, so bad, man.
Yeah,
and it's a fucking tough job. Like when Chicka, you must know Chicka.
Runes is one of my best friends.
Yeah, my father got him started. Yeah,
when he fucking took the fucking stick, I was praying, like the way he was down, and like a buddy of mine goes, I think he texted him like right after the locker room. He's like, he needs stitches, but didn't get his eye,
No, I texted him the next day. I said, when you went off the ice with your towel, I thought you were holding your freaking eyeball in the towel.
A lot of people.
That's all I was.
And thank God he wasn't.
Scary
and he
shit,
came back and worked, the Cup final. I mean, for our money, we've always said Bruins and Wes McCauley are the two best.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's a few.
The kid he was working with, Dave Bear. I live with him in Reading, Pennsylvania, in the Coast League. Yeah, he's he's a good referee too. I mean, he gets a lot of shit. So does Sharon.
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems like they all do, but I bet I probably don't check it for about 35 years.
Yeah.
We used to back then. We used to go up Montreal. City kids would go up to Montreal. And, IDs like 19, even though they were like 13 and 14, go super sex. But he's a good man. He's a good dude.
So I lived with him in Iowa when we did the USHL the year before he got hired by the NHL. We lived in Des Moines, Iowa together and worked at USHL. And I still joke with him about ironing all his dress shirts.
What's Des Moines, Iowa like?
Des Moines, Iowa was actually, we lived in, what the hell was it? It was where the Des Moines Buccaneers played.
Yeah.
And I forget the name of the town. Clive, Iowa, which was outside of the metropolis that was Des Moines. And we had a blast. There was a bar there called Denny Arthur's that was just an absolute shit show every weekend. And we had a blast living there. We driving around. John Lively, Dave Hansen, myself, and Chris were the full-time referees in the league with Scott Zingerman.
Zinger, yeah. I worked with Zinger out there. I lived in Omaha, Nebraska for a season. Yeah.
What years was that approximately?
So that year was 85, 86. And I remember because I got married in June of 86 at the end of the season. And so that was, and then the next year I was in the Coast League and Bruins were off to the NHL. And the rest is history, as they say.
What would you guys rate the overall officiating for the playoffs this year?
Well,
I don't think they were a factor. I don't think they were a factor in any outcomes of any games that were really big.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree,
So like that's a big thing for me, right? Like, don't be a factor in the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
Don't have a shitty call that just took a team out of contention and clawing back. Like, I didn't see too many of that. Yeah, there was some missed calls, there was some missed shit going on, right? Like, you could
always gonna happen,
right? I mean, there's always those things, but for the most part, I thought it was well officiated. In my opinion, I didn't like. I usually get like angry and mad like when like I see shit go on, and I really didn't see that. Like, I get irked at like positioning things and little shit like that more than a big picture thing.
Right.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, obviously you got more guys working, right? So you have guys that, are really fringe guys for the playoffs, but they're going to work because there's so many games. And then as it gets pared down, you end up with the Rooneys and the McCaulleys that are left, so that officiating level gets better and better as it moves on. And I honestly, my biggest thing was positioning. Like on our text chain with Luke Galvin, I don't understand a lot of the positioning they teach now and how they do it. I don't get it, and they're always in the way. Not the Rooneys, not the McCaulleys, but certain guys just, I don't know. But I thought, overall, I thought it was pretty good. But it's funny, you mentioned how people are pissed off. We have Kerry Frazier came on. Just the other day, someone commented. The comment was "fuck Frazier" from a Detroit Red Wings fan. Like, they just hold on to this shit, right?
I think he really fucked Detroit, though.
Yeah,
but no, he did, and but like someone commented on the missed high stick by Gretzky.
Yeah.
Coho came on. Don Koharski came on. There was comments on his about like people really hold on to that shit. And it's I mean, I still don't like the fact that Kelly Sutherland missed the slew foot. in the St. Louis.
I don't think
The
he
St.
missed
Louis
it.
game.
The high guy missed that.
Well, they both missed it,
Yes,
and it
but he
still
was-
pisses me off because it was obvious. But I'm going to let that go. Not tonight, but I will eventually. But it's funny that you mentioned that like you hold on to that shit.
Oh,
You know?
no,
And
plus
they-
the internet's just full of fucking idiot losers.
Trolls,
anyways,
right?
too.
Like we just Josh told a nice troll story before this.
Yeah, he
we're
did.
gonna get that out.
He did. Well, I get sucked in. Some people comment.
I can't do it. I
Yeah.
referee. My wife would send me tweets about people. I'm like, I'm not reading that. And like that was early on when Twitter was like
Fun.
first. Yeah, it was
When it
exactly when it was fun.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
you're right.
Yeah. No, it's
yeah.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, you get sucked in though.
Oh yeah.
I get sucked in with the
Oh, I
chirping
do.
zebra stuff.
Oh,
Actually-
I want to throw it in the ocean, but it's like I'd end up with it because I wouldn't be able to let the fucking thing go with my phone.
Actually, speaking of my wife and Twitter,
Wasn't
Yes.
me. Wasn't me.
No, listen, this is
Oh,
funny.
was you?
Colleen Pickles, right, is her name, right? She's kind of funny. She's actually really funny. But my, I don't know if you remember, my Uncle Aldo got the shit kicked out of him down the bog. And there was a video that got sent out, and my wife was just newly working with the company. So she was like, oh my God, I'm going to send this out. And I'm like, that was my fucking uncle. She was like, oh my God, like the next morning. So like you were going back and forth with her saying, oh, the referee started this whole thing. And then like the next day, the whole video came out, and the guy came on the ice, spit up my uncle, fucking beat the shit out of him. But you see my uncle, the video that got sent out was my uncle just like uppercutting the guy.
How long ago was that? I'm trying to
This was
remember.
probably 4 or 5 years ago.
okay.
Yeah, it was a while. It was a long time ago. It was probably I was still working, so it was probably like 5 years ago.
Do you guys worry about a shortage of refs for like maybe the next like 10 years, just because they get abused already at like such a low level that like kids are just going to be deterred from even starting to like.
It's always been an issue. So like I think it's right now we're pretty healthy.
Yeah, good.
I just said to him, I just filled 300 games for this weekend. And before, I wouldn't be able to do that. I would have to like TBA it to be one guy on them on a lot of the games. But like the way USA Hockey finally did their seminars, where you're not sitting in a classroom for 6-7 hours and then have to go skate. Mm-hmm. It's more streamlined. It's get with the times, right? We're zooming people in, and it's all learn on the job anyway. It's not like it's not like you're not going to regurgitate how to referee in a 6-hour classroom. Like your attention span's gone. Like see you later. So like we do a lot of secondary training. We do a lot of cool shit now, and I think a lot of people are buying into it, and the money's really good. So like we got the money up. And the people that can't handle the abuse, they get out, and you can weed those people out, right? But right now it's in a good spot, but it's grown. Like look at the women's hockey. The women's hockey's doubled, right?
Exactly,
so now we got a lot of women officials starting to come into the game, and that's been really good for it. Like we got a ton of women working,
Nice.
and it's good. Yeah.
Nice.
So it is. It is concerning, the abuse and all that kind of stuff, but there's a lot more deterrence, just the growth and all that stuff.
So if I was a good skater, I think I would have been a good referee. Like, but I
You don't
can't
have to
skate
be.
for shit.
Have you
No,
seen
I
some
can't
of the
skate
guys
at all.
working?
Dude, I can't skate for shit.
Yeah, you don't need a skate. We'll throw you out there in golf spikes. You'll be fine.
I'll just fucking sit on the penalty box, but I dash it and call it from there.
Dude, having a good sense of humor is like half of it, right?
Yeah,
If you can get the coaches laughing, the kids laughing, right, and it's just like, all right, moving on, right? Well, like give an effort and have don't be so serious about
exactly. Everyone's putting the same show on.
Yeah,
just
right.
different roles.
it. Exactly, that's what it is.
If you sat in the penalty box, that'd be basically Aldo, the way Aldo referees. His uncle doesn't move much.
Oh, it was so funny.
That's hilarious that happened.
Yeah.
You've obviously met a ton of people.
Yes.
Who's like the coolest, or the person you met that was like, holy fuck, I just met,
Yeah, it's funny. Like sometimes you think it's gonna happen that way, and other times like you don't. Like for example, we interviewed Chara, and like. I was prepped and ready, but I kind of like a little more pitter patter than usual. I was like, "Whoa, wow!"
Yeah.
Like, holy,
right.
I'm a big fan of his, but I got a little giddy. But then the first time we interviewed Wayne Gretzky down in Atlanta, and it was actually funny. We were sitting. This might have been the first. It might have been the first or second interview. So we're sitting, in the hotel suite, and we hear like a beep, and it's is that a fire alarm or something going on? Like where everyone's kind of like, what's that fucking noise? And, people look at their phones, whatever. And then a few minutes later, the phone rings, and I forget, I don't know, Biz or whoever answers. Hello. He's like, "What's up?" He's like, "It was Gretzky. He's like, I've been ringing the fucking bell outside of the hotel room because you don't think of a hotel room doorbell, right? And so he's like, no one answers. So he had to go back down to the room. He's like, where the fuck is? I've been ringing the doorbell up there.
You left Gretzky hanging in the door.
But the first time, I did meet him though. He came in the room and I thought I would have been fangirl and whatever. But I just think I was locked in, just because you want to just treat people like people too,
right?
Just to have a conversation. But here's how way does he come in and I'd say, Brian McGonagle, nice to meet you. Say, hey, Wayne Gretzky, nice to meet you, which is kind of hilarious, right. In its own right. And then and the first thing he says, because he recognized my accent, he goes, me and Janet used to spend a couple weeks up in Linfield every summer. It's not a secret. I mean, I don't think anyone knew that. Because he was great friends. His mentor was the late Ace Bailey, who was killed in 9/11.
Right,
who lived in Linfield. So he when Gretzky was in first year at Edmonton, Ace took him under his wing, and they stayed great friends. So every summer, Wayne and Janet would come up here to the North Shore and spend a couple weeks with the Ace and his wife.
Wow.
But so that was the first just a great conversation.
Yeah.
He has my accent. Doesn't say Boston, and immediately talks about Ace. It was just
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a cool story. But sometimes a guy like Duncan Keith, right? This dude just a cool cat. He got in the Hall of Fame too. He come in. He just has an aura about him. You know what I mean? He's not not cocky, whatever. Just confident himself. Just chill. I'm like, this dude like to go out and hang out with this dude in a fucking club a couple nights. But I gotta say though, everybody the hockey community, it's no surprise, but 99.9%. I mean, I've only been punched down a couple of times. I mean, get my balls busted in the show, that's one thing. But, no one ever has made me feel like, oh, you shouldn't be here, whatever. Guys, go over the top sometimes to be nice. But, yeah, even friends I've made, if you told me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I'd laugh. John Cooper, Tampa's coach.
He's a great guy, man. I ref him in the minors. Even in the juniors when he was in St. Louis, yeah.
Met him through weird circumstances. And it was you get older, you're middle-aged dude, you don't typically get new friends. Guys and I get more numbers in my phone. It always seems to be Canadians too, but that was remember Tampa's assistant, Derek Lalonde. He wanted to coach Detroit, now Toronto's assistant. Well, when I was at North Adams, he was the graduate assistant coach there, and I was doing work study in the hockey office, which sat there and fucking dilly-dally. There was nothing to do there. Sat there and told dirty jokes to each other. Head coach Jim Duran, who runs the Woburn program. Yep. And Derek had actually already graduated. I think he went to SUNY Cortland, and he was at North Adams to get basically a free master's degree to be a teacher. Go back to upstate New York. And he was in North Adams, and his no designs on being a coach or whatever. So he was a quiet dude. And he didn't hang out with the players there, obviously. Right. But we spent a lot of time together. Super nice guy. So I graduated '97. Might have seen him once visiting as an alumni. Fast forward to 2017, 18, whatever. A buddy of mine who played on the team was like, hey, he goes, do you know Derek Lalonde's the assistant coach Tampa Bay? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? No, it wasn't a knock on Newsy. It was the last time I saw him, he was a graduate assistant, preparing to be a teacher. And then I was like, you fucking should be. He's like, no. He goes, he listened to the show. He wanted to get back in touch with you. I was like, fucking yeah, get my number. So
that's awesome.
We got back in touch after all these years. Texted and shit, and asked me for NFL picks or whatever. I was like, hook a guy up because that investment company I mentioned, I might have been doing that in college too. So we got back in touch, and then they won the Bubble Cup, the COVID Cup.
Yeah.
So God, it was a nightmare scenario. It was I got to bash people. I had a nightmare living scenario. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here for a while. So Florida didn't have COVID, as you know. It stopped at the border.
Right. Yeah, it did.
Everything was open. Yeah, it's like, I'll go walk in Morton's. It's like, I'll take that table of 10 by myself. It was literally no one down there. It was pretty cool if you're fucking on vacation. You have to wait anywhere, do any of that shit. So I'm like, I got to fucking beat feet. I'm going down to Florida for a few weeks, and I knew the cup celebrations were going on because it was December, but because of the COVID fucked the schedule up.
Right.
But I was like, I don't want to bug. I'm like, I only crash cup parties when I don't know the people. I don't want to crash when I know the dude. And Bluesy texted me. He's like, I just talked to Evie, a mutual friend. He's like, you're down here. What the fuck? You didn't reach out. I was like, I know everyone hitting people up for cup parties. I don't want to be that guy. he's like, fuck that. He's like, this Monday, our video guy, it's his day with a cup. It's 4 Green Fields, this Irish bar in Tampa. Last night ever. It wasn't open for the public. It was like private party. I was like, all right, twist my arm. So I Ubered over. And that was the first time I'd seen Derek in like 20 years.
Wow, shit.
And it was awesome. It was a mutual admiration society. Like, he just won a Stanley Cup, and, Chiclets had taken off. And, if he would have told us that, 25 years ago at North Adams, like, we would have laughed in each other's faces,
Yeah, right.
And it was great. So he's standing there, and he's like, oh, you gotta meet Coop. He's like, hey, Coop, get over here. Like, and Coop listens to the show. He's a fan of the T-shirts and shit. And he come over and we shook hands, and he's like, all right. He's like, tell me the story. Like, sits down. Not like, I was like, oh, he really like legit wants to hear. And I gave him like the soup to nuts thing, and like, he was genuinely interested. So then, like, a little later, he was behind the bar pouring a Guinness, and we're about the same age. So I leaned over, and you've seen National Lampoon Vacation, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So I leaned over. I was like, hey, tenderfoot. I was like, hey, yellow belly. And like, he fucking does that, like, kind of like crumple laughing. And he comes over. He's like, all right, I just showed the kids that fucking movie. They loved it. We did the Christmas one after. Then after that, he was like, we were like fucking, did we just become like fucking best buddies or something like that? And after he gave me his number, we did strike out the cup. We couldn't put it online because of the COVID shit. And we kept in touch since. Every time he comes to Boston, we go out to dinner, hang out, maybe have a couple of pops. And, I've introduced him to a lot of the locals. Yeah, Coop's well beloved in Charlestown, and he's become a good pal, which is outrageous to say, but he's the real deal.
He's an unreal guy. So when I worked in the USA program, we were out in the North American League. So he was coaching that team, and he had twins. And we went to the hospital and saw his twins be born. Yeah, like Monticelli, the guy running the whole thing, like took us in the van. Like, I gotta go see Coop, because he's like, he was like awesome to watch. Like, he was like always treated us nice, even when he was in the American League. I refed him his whole career in the American League, and like he would always come in the room for a beer after, like. It was left out there. He was fucking awesome to deal with. And like, I tell this story all the time. I put him down 5-on-3 twice in a row. He didn't say a fucking word to me. And I was like, I'm going to get lit up the second I put him down 5-on-3 again. So I go over. I'm like, hey, Coop. I go, I'm not running you here. I go, you guys. I go, I'm just warning you. He goes, Bins, get the fuck away from me. He goes, you keep calling because we're not changing the fuck how we're playing. He goes, get away from me. Like, he didn't even care. He goes, we're going to step on your. It's when remember when they went on that run? They had the record.
Yeah, Syracuse was it? They moved.
No,
right?
it was Syracuse. Yeah.
Okay,
so it was Syracuse when he had the record. And they went on that run that year, and it was like, unreal. He was awesome to deal with.
When you look at his career trajectory, like it's insane. Like, I don't know if a coach has ever like won at that level and achieved like the NHL like that. Everywhere he went within like
North
2 years.
American League for 2 years, USHL, Green Bay. Then he went to Norfolk, crushed it there, and then went to Syracuse, and then
AHL, like boom, boom, boom. It's amazing. It's impressive as hell. And then
it really is.
And then conversely, like a guy like Newsy, he humped for fucking years. Like I said, I didn't see him all those years, and assistant here, assistant there, bounce around, and I was psyched for him when he got the Detroit gig. I don't think he had the best roster there to even get the playoffs, but it's a good dude. I'm glad to see him back behind a bench in Toronto. So yeah, it's just shit like that, like and you think is you never want to like pound him because it's like, oh man, like I want to take my cousin of the game. I was like, cool. I was like, dude, I don't even want to ask you, Mike, but I'll pay for it. But I was like, I hate asking for fucking tickets. But I was like, my cousin asked me like a year ago because he wanted to go see the game. But it's just a good time when he comes to town. Have a grand old time. Me, him, Big Jimmy VZ too. They go.
Oh yeah.
Back, so.
Wow. Yeah, no, hockey people, I mean, when we're hockey people sitting here, so it's a little biased, but hockey people are the best people.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are.
Yeah.
You're hard pressed to find a hockey guy, especially an NHLer, right, that is, like, that's a dick. I mean, they're out there. Don't get me wrong.
I can name a couple.
Yeah,
I know a few.
Definitely a few out
No,
there,
but you know what I mean.
Few
Like,
far between.
You look at the Bruins alumni.
Yeah.
All these guys, Joey Mullen, the fucking Hockey Hall of Famer, right? Nicest guy you can meet. We mentioned Taz. All these guys are just great guys.
Yeah.
And they, it's just, I don't know. We're biased, but hockey people are the best people.
Yeah.
You mentioned your phone and who's in it. I joke because Mike Ruzioni, when he calls me, it's rare, but he'll call me like, I've done comedy stuff for him and stuff. And every time he calls, no matter who I'm with, I'm like, Olympic hero Mike Eruzione calling me, like, fucking, like an asshole.
I get NHL referees. Yeah, that's all I got though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny from doing this. I've increased my plethora of famous people.
I didn't get his number. Or, like, hang out with him too much, but Will Arnett was a dude we got to meet with. Was it last year when the All-Star game was in Toronto? Which but yeah, there weren't really antics. That was the one people accused me of sneaking into the fucking locker room or the lounge, which didn't happen.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was, dude. I'll tell the story again because nobody feasible listens to the last night. It was 3:00 in the afternoon that game was. Like, I probably got up at 2, showered, walked down to the arena, and we had the press pass. So right when I get in, a young kid worked. He's like, hey, Ari. He's like, oh, the boys are down here. Like, he's like, I was like, come follow me. I was like, all right. So I'm following him, and he's like, that boy, they were asking, they were wondering where you were. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So I'm following him. Now, I've never been to this building before. I don't know anything about it. And he walks in, and it's like, this kind of kitchen-looking area, and there's, 2 fucking big sets of doors. There's like a lounge, and he's like, oh, right there. He didn't say that room, like, point the row right there, okay, 100%. I'm like, because I was like, you check the fucking tape if you just want. And like I said, it was 2:30 in the afternoon. Like, I think I had a beer on the walk down, just get up, and I walk in, and it's the 2 All-Star teams watching the 2 All-Star teams play. And, there's 4 teams, and I walk in. Now, this kid just said to me, the boys are asking where you were, and he points to this room, and I walk in, and there's 2 sets of All-Stars. I was like, oh, the boys are wondering where Larry was. He didn't say the Chiclets, he just said the boys are at, and literally, I'd tell you if I was being a sneak, like, what I snuck in the Igloo fucking locker room in 2008, 100% being a menace that night, but pointed in, so I'm just like, in my head, like, not like being a fathead, like, he said the boys looking for it. I'm like,
that's
awesome.
I
knew of like a few of the, a handful of guys in the room. So there's a couch over to the left, and Austin Matthews sitting there, I think with Nylander, and I just popped down next to him. We know Austin pretty good, and he just kind of like laughed. I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "What's up, Mario? What's going on?" I was like, "Nothing." I was like, "Any beers in here?" Like, and he's like, "Yeah, fridge right over there." Like, I goes, "You want one?" He goes, like, "Nah, I got the next game." Like, So I was walking, and there was like one step, and then walk right 10 feet, and then there was like a step down. It's like sort of a bar along there. So first I was standing, and like Michael Bublé was there, and we had him on the show not so long, and I'm just like, Boobs, what's going on, guy? He was like a high school buddy. He said hi to a couple dudes I know. So I walked to go to a beer. I go up that one step, and I'm walking, and what's his name? Morgan Riley he had his back to me, but he was watching the TV, and he turned and he kind of did a double take, and I kind of did the same, and I was like, hey, what's I went to go say what's up. But so when I turned, that's where that fucking the one step was. So I got distracted by Morgan Riley. I was, hey, what's up? And then I went down, but I popped up. I did the Willy Wonka, so I popped up real quick. So everyone hit the, and when they turned around, I was like, just me standing there. I was like, who put that barrel there? And so I was just stand there for a minute, and then an old security dude comes in. He's like, what are you doing in here? And I was like, no. I was like, dude, point to me in this room. Who? I was like, I don't know. One of the young staff is like. I was like, there's cameras here, but you can go look if you don't. So I was like, I'll leave. I'm not looking. I don't want to stop causing any trouble. We got a good relationship with the NHL, and also he brought me. It was a side room. It was like a fucking room off to the side with. They're like, all right, where the fuck you been? I was like, dude,
the boys.
The boys are looking for me. They were asking for me. Like, so I met up with all the Chiclets guys. So yeah, it's become this fucking crazy like. Fucking loaded in the locker room and trip about. It's like, no, dude, it was the first. I was going to get my first, maybe second beer the other day. Fucking Morgan Riley tripped me up with a double take. Gypsy doing gone. So it was Toronto was great, but I think it was the night before. Brendan Shanahan took a bunch of us out to dinner because we saw him early in the season. Like, dude, you got to come on the show. First, he goes, all right, what the fuck's up with those basketball shots? Remember my infamous, like a no-arc wet basketball North End fucking show. So I was like, holy shit, first thing Brendan Shanahan says to you, picks on your basketball skills. So like, dude, you got to come on the show. He's like, all right. He goes, if I go on that, I'll have to do, he didn't say fuck him, but I got to do like 10 other shows. He's like, I'll take us to dinner. And then he's like, if the cup leaves from the cup, I'll come on and whistle. Wit's like, so that means you're not coming.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right.
So he took us out this great Italian
bet.
restaurant. Like not a private room, but like those big heavy drapes. Like, and I sat like Shanahan there right across from me, and then also Will Arnett walks in. I thought he was just coming in to kiss the ring or whatever, say hello. Nope, sits right next to Shanny. He was there for dinner. So I had dinner, like, there was like 12 of us, like Shanny and Arnett right across from us. Shanahan, Arnett fell in love with Chiclets memes, that crazy fucking meme guy. Like, they hit it off good, but it was one of those, like, definitely one of those, like, kind of pinch me moments, like sitting across from Will and Shanny. And then, Willie Nealon just, like, stopped by to say hello. He's a nice Italian restaurant. He's got, like, the wife beater on with a chain. Like, I don't think he had a shit like a jacket even. It was, like, hilarious. He just, like, walks around like the cock of the walk, you know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah, Toronto, too. Great city.
I love the fact that you walk in where the boys were and you're like, where were you?
Yeah,
I was with the boys.
Was hilarious in my head.
Just hanging out with
I remember
Matthews.
I remember that feeling happened, in my head, like, wow. I'm like, wow, the boys are fucking awesome for me. Which ones? Like,
that's awesome.
Psych.
Then you went viral.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. For all the fucking wrong reasons.
Wow.
Yeah. It was good.
No, that shit happens. Yeah.
Now, Gretzky obviously is the biggest guest you guys have had, hockey-wise. Outside of that, who's the biggest guest, do you think?
It's funny. We haven't really done too many outside hockey ones too recently, but probably favorites. Bill Burr. People forget we had Bill Burr. We had him years ago. I would like to get him back. Him. John Hamm we had on a couple of times because I play, I was an extra in town, but I played up like, we were co-stars and just to, like us the balls. I'm like, John, when we were making that movie, did you know it was going to be a hit? Like, but he was good. Bill Burr, like I'm trying to think who, like, we have this young kid on. Trung Fan, he works in technology and finance. He has a real good informative Twitter feed, and I think we might have brought him on to explain AI or something. He's a real interesting cat. We've had him on a couple times, but we're definitely overdue for like some non-hockey folks. But yeah, probably John Hamm, Bill Burr, they come to mind immediately.
Now you're the second star of the town we've had on. Tony V.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Tony V was on,
one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Neighbor.
That's right around the block. Yeah, Tony's a good guy, man. Yeah,
he's the best.
He's been grinding a long time, man. Yeah.
No, he's the best. He was hilarious.
He is a good dude. Yeah, the town, man. They really.
Oh yeah.
They really nailed it. Ben Affleck.
He
did like Michael Mann. He dug for the details that make it authentic and. Talked to a lot of guys who were inside for a long time, and just little tidbits that otherwise people would know. Like, and that scene when they go to the switch car with the non uniforms and the cops wearing the detail, and looks that's based on an actual incident. Basically, if that literally happened. Hey buddy, are you fucking gonna die for someone else's money, or just keep going back to your Herald? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're gonna go home, or what are you gonna do? Yeah, no need to play hero today.
That movie was fucking outstanding.
It was.
He really did a great job. In the end, obviously, like the Hollywoodized at Fenway, but that's funny. I actually met John Hamm before he even got called to be an extra. That was 2007. Like awesome dude. Like me and another buddy of mine was in the movie too. He'd been on the set for weeks, and he introduced me to him. He's like, "Hey, John, it's my buddy Brian, huge Mad Men fan." Like, bro, like fucking, come on. I was like, I am though, but what I realized is particularly, I think with actors, the last thing that I think a lot of them want to talk about is coworkers and fucking movies and all that. So we talked to him just guy. He's a fucking guy your age, dude. Sports, fucking pizza, food.
He seemed like a good shit.
For 45 minutes he sat there to talk to us, and then I was like, John to the set. He's like, all right, guys, got to go. Then look at his watch once, look for a PA and nothing, just just a nice regular.
I always ask my wife for a lap nap. Remember that movie? He was in a movie and he was like, "How about a lap nap?" To the girl, I forget what movie that was.
Was it Bridesmaids?
Bridesmaids, yeah. Bridesmaids. How about a lap nap?
He does comedy.
Yeah.
Really well too. He does good with the comedy. What's your favorite Boston movie?
Favorite Boston movie?
Throw a few out, I suppose.
The Town is probably the one I've
definitely up
watched
there,
the
yeah.
most. I love Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, Good Will
Yeah,
Hunting
yeah.
probably it for me.
That's a good one. I mean, Mystic River was good. That's
yeah.
another one.
Yeah. Despite Laura Liddy's accent, sorry, Laura, I love you, but that was tough.
You know, it's funny because you know, Fever Pitch killed me. Because it was just enough with trying to do the Boston accent, right?
So bad.
Like,
So bad.
you know, you watch that as a Boston kid, and you're going, "What the fuck? Stop
Right.
trying to do it. Cast people that know how to do it." You know, but the Mystic River was good. You know, what was the one about the fuck? I think Kevin Bacon was in it. The one about the school where the kids were getting abused.
Oh yeah, what was that?
The fuck Nate was the name of that movie. Josh, get on that in the Google machine.
Movie Kevin Bacon? No,
I think it was Kevin Bacon.
because Mystic River had
Mr.
that.
River had
that
Kevin
element.
Bacon, but it was the one where they went to the boys' school and then they
Yeah,
came
yeah,
back
I'm
and
trying to
found the
think-
guy.
Oh,
What?
Sleepers.
Sleepers.
Yeah. Hey, Carcaterra. Yeah.
Yes,
Sleepers, yeah.
that was a
That
good
was
movie.
that was a
Sleepers,
good one too.
Yeah, my buddy was in that.
That was a good one too.
Jonathan Tucker. He played one of the
Yeah.
young
One of
the
young
kids, yeah.
versions. He's a Charlestown
That was
kid. Yeah.
that was one of those movies where you forget how good it was.
Yeah, you're right.
Creepy
You
as
know?
fuck. Yeah.
Good actors in it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely great cast. You ever see the Friends of Eddie Coyle?
No, I never seen that.
That's like the OG Boston gangster movie.
Okay.
I want to
Okay. Friends of
say
Eddie Coyle.
71 or 73 it come out. It's Robert Mitchum. You know, he's
Okay.
like this, low level, like fucking, like, deadbeat gang. Not a gangster. He's like just a criminal, but like a notch below a gangster. And it's legit. I don't know if you're a Robert Mitchum fan, old school actor. Like, it's probably one of his best roles.
Really?
So when he came to Boston, I hang out this picture. He hung out with all the Winter Hill Wise guys, like, sort of. Get the gist. Well, of course, Hollywood dudes love hanging out with gangsters anyway.
Right.
But yeah, there's pictures of them with like John Martirano, Howie Winter, like all these like big wise guys.
Like
but,
legit, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a great flick. Like, I mean, like I know people's attention spans are fucking wired now, but it's made in the 70s. It's like a movie back movies could breathe. I could say, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Don't be waiting for something to happen every 2 seconds. But it's a terrific movie, and yeah, I would say it's like the OG. Like Boston gangster film, and Peter Boyle's in it. But they actually filmed scenes at the Garden up in the balcony during an actual Bruins Blackhawks games.
No shit.
And yeah, there's like classic like Robert Mitchum. He's up there. And it's like number 4, Bobby Orr. It's like this like great quote. He actually does the accent pretty good. But yeah, just give it a whirl. It's a great gangster flick. And one other one too. I just watched it recently too. The Thomas Crown Affair. Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway.
That was a good one.
Dynamite.
Yeah,
I was
very
like,
good
holy
movie.
shit, how haven't I seen it? And do Faye Dunaway pull that one home at all?
Yeah.
Oh, she was looking
And,
hot now. Time down, boy.
Yes.
Yeah, she was good looking. Black Mass.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, I'm from Southie, and I like best friends with Kevin Weeks.
Right.
Yeah, I'm friends with Weeksy. Yeah.
The father or the son?
Son.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
we just went to the Jude Ranch together.
I know. Yeah.
We go there, yeah.
I know. It's like I'm probably one of the few people who knows both Kevin Weeks. Like,
Oh yeah, no shit. Yeah,
the black goalie
Kevin.
and the white gangster.
Well, I know. I mean, I know the father. I mean, I know
Yeah.
the father, but I'm friends with Kevin.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my uncles and father grew up with his father and all that. Yeah.
No shit.
Took judo together and karate.
What was the one that basically it was about Whitey?
It was the
Black
Mass. Well, The Departed. Yeah.
Black Mass was first. Yeah. It
Well,
was,
the
yeah, well, that
Departed. The
was
Black
the-
Mask is The
yeah,
Departed.
they-
It's
right.
that's.
It was the book. Black
book
Mass.
was
It
Black
basically
Mask,
Like
yeah.
all the Globe articles.
Right,
They actually
right.
filmed like when I was living in Southie. They were filming right behind my house, and
yeah.
the dude.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
The dude who was this, he was Johnny Depp stand-in. Like for, I thought it was Depp dude. He looked exactly like the fucking blue eyes, and he was just standing there. But it was like no, it's just his stand-in.
I remember watching them film that and seeing the stand-in.
Yeah,
I saw the stand-in
he looked
guy.
just
yeah.
like him. But that was one. Yeah, I had a great cast, but it just I don't know.
It didn't do it for me either, yeah.
Well, that's actually a common misconception about The Departed. It's actually a remake of a Hong Kong film, Infernal Affairs.
That's right.
Yeah, where there's a mole in with the police and a mole in with the
the mob,
gangsters.
yeah.
And what they did. Who's the fucking screenwriter from Dorchester? Is it Monahan? Is it William Monahan?
I don't know.
Like they set it in that sort of like Whitey world,
yeah.
but it's not like the Whitey Bulger story. They definitely used elements, but no, that plot was a from Infernal Affairs, which mirrored what Whitey, what was going on.
It's kind of like The Town. I remember Weeksy telling me there was a couple of scenes Leonardo DiCaprio played, and like there was one in particular. I think the one when the Providence guys come in from out of town into the store and all that kind of stuff. Like I think that was like kind of like the same thing with the Charlestown guys getting out of the car. Like it was similar to based on an actual thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that was true in the town, like the local gangsters. They weren't necessarily clipping roses, but they were working on a flower shop for sure. Yeah.
I love when she finds the bag of money buried at the end.
Yeah.
Of the town,
right.
When she finds the money.
That was one of the things as well. The towny guy who grew up with bank robbers, like yeah.
Well, yeah, it was Hollywood. It was Hollywood.
Yeah, but
it was one of those feel good moments in a movie that
Yeah. Well,
I watched Good Will Hunting on the plane down to Aruba last a couple weeks ago when I went down. It was one of the movies that was on. I was like, I haven't seen this in a while. I'm gonna watch this.
Me and all my friends went in town and watched like the opening premiere. I remember we were assholes just yelling Southie every 2 seconds.
it still holds up too.
That does hold up. That's a great movie.
Robin Williams is so good in that freaking movie.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he got the Oscar. Yeah,
hey Chief, like he was just so good. You forget how good it was.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, even if they're from Cambridge, we can still root for Matt and Ben. No.
Remember they had a big party of straighties.
Yeah. And it's funny when you watch it now too, how different the fucking city is.
Yes. It's wild, isn't it?
Because I guess they don't film shit here anymore. Like fucking idiots who take away the incentives. It's like, we're not giving money to Hollywood. But it's like, dumbbell, would you rather have 60 cents on the dollar or fucking nothing on the dollar? Not to mention, people come here when they see movies.
Right.
They want to come visit all these places. But I guess for a while, because Southie and Charlestown were getting so gentrified and gussied up, they started having to go to Eastie and Chelsea to a little
for the grit, for a little grit,
aspect,
Chelsea, I don't think will ever change.
It's too bad they don't. I mean, they don't make it movies.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Because we went on a run there for a while.
A huge run. They're going cheaper.
It was cheap.
States that are offering incentives, they go to Canada. They're going overseas. It's just a lot cheaper. It sucks because that adds so much money to the local economy. I mean, the teams, the dudes get work. Fucking
right. Everybody gets
all the drivers. Just
extras, everything.
They got to order food. They got
right.
There's a lot that goes into it.
A lot that goes in. Yeah.
Similar. It's like
the Boston Strangler. I was in the Boston Strangler as an extra.
The one that was just on Hulu?
The one with I said it was Keira Knightley, but it wasn't Keira Knightley. I forget what episode we talked about it. Who was the chick in that?
Oh, I can't. I'd seen it too, but
man,
was it Hulu? Was the one on Hulu?
Yeah. The one and one. Who?
It was.
Oh, really? Maybe
So
it was
right.
Keira Knightley. I said someone else then.
Maybe.
And maybe I looked it up and realized it was Keira Knightley. Maybe I just had a mini stroke. I don't know.
Do you think?
But yeah.
Oh, do you think DeSalvo was the actual Boston Strangler? I know it was always jailhouse.
There's so many theories on that. Speaking of court, we didn't talk about Karen Reed. Last episode.
No, we did not.
But I'd love to get your thoughts on Karen Reed. Found innocent. As I think she should be.
If you think she had anything to do with that, you should probably go in for testing on your IQ, your brain. They said, I watched both those trials. Being going to Northeastern for 4.5 months pre-law and all. I figured I had a little inside scoop on it. And it was it was literally the Commonwealth's cases both were pathetic. There wasn't one iota of fucking evidence. They brought in rigged, Matchbox fucking people filled out the back of the Matchbox to get their degree in fucking reading the inside of a car, and it's there was nothing there. There was so many things like that this don't make sense, and people it's a big conspiracy. It's I goes these people in this area have been getting away with taking care of each other, the generation, what sickens me is the Sarah Birchmore case, right?
Oh, yeah.
That fucking poor girl
right.
got groomed by those fucking skinners and fucking kills her. They kill her, and then they try to say she hung herself off the fucking door handle 3 feet off the ground, what's his name, D'Angelo Boxdale in the fucking Wire.
Yeah, right.
No, it's
yeah, right.
And
it's a good series.
Think of the fucking lack of morality you have to have just to cover, be part of that. So that's two things we know of. So what the fuck don't we know of out there?
Right.
What other stuff's
Yeah,
going on?
what else is going
Because
on?
they're all beholden to each other. It's like they have this power, and they're daring people to fucking, challenge them. And that's like, when you got a firefighter on the stand and EMTs, and it's like, they should be neutral. Why the fuck are they slanting it this way and trying to,
Right.
I hit him. It's like, that's all they kept saying. It's like, did I hit him? And again, if she did, he had that gash in his head. Why ain't there fucking 8 pints of fucking blood in the driveway?
Right.
Or in the snow.
There was nothing.
Like in the snow. None.
There.
Now, how are you
The
a
dog-
cop
yeah.
and don't go outside when there's
Yeah.
all that kind of shit
Yeah.
going on in your front lawn and there's a body out there?
That and,
Right?
and another thing in a cop murder case, to not have a sea of blue in the courtroom, like
Right.
every day, that's one of the most indicting things to me, because that's, to me, like, his peers know what the fuck happened. Like, and it's not that they're not supporting O'Keefe. They're like, they know it's a fucking sham trial.
Right.
And I mean, imagine they did convict her after this trial. I mean, that actually, one of my good buddies was on the jury. I swear.
Really?
To God,
Oh, no
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
No kidding.
One of my real good buddies. Yeah.
On this last one.
The second trial, yeah.
I had jury duty the
it's very
first
good.
day that they were calling. I had it in Dedham. I was over there, but I was like 130. They took like 1 to 120 over. So like I went to the other court. I was like, oh, but I wouldn't have got on anyway.
I just, there was so many things that should have exonerated her in the first trial.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and it was like, you kept shaking your head going, how the fuck are they not finding her innocent?
Well, wasn't it
All
that
these
the
things.
Because they had Judge Bevan fucking rigging the game. Sustained.
Yes.
Sustained. Sustained.
She should be arrested.
Yeah.
No, but it's like, and it happens, and it's like, finally, I'm interested. Do you think the FBI now gets involved and tries to figure out what really happened, or you think they just let it
Well,
go?
given their clean history and never getting involved in anything shady, sorry guys, my uncle's in the FBI, but no, I like to say, yeah, like somebody should come in, because there is clearly a level of corruption that's fucking ridiculous. And what they, like what they were doing to Turtle Boy, like fucking, like arresting him for witness intimidation, like harassing him and shit. And what's crazy, like, I know Turtle Boy's not everyone's cup of tea. I never actually met him. I think I butted heads on Twitter with big fucking deal years ago. But I mean, what he's done here, he ran laps around the local media. Like, there are 2 newspapers are dead in this town. They charge $4.50 for the fucking Rag, the Herald.
Right.
Like $4.50 for 20 pages of like bullshit. The sports page is still good. The Globe, they're asleep at the switch. Like, that's a story 30 years ago that would have been catnip to the Boston media every day.
Right.
And covered the fucking story. If Reed's people didn't reach out to Turtle Boy, that she might be fucking framing him right now. Fucking whatever they do in women's prisons. I don't make a reference. I don't like fucking. What I mean? Like,
that's a good point.
She like he basically brought that, and it wasn't like it is easy for people. Oh, he's a blogger. Like he's he does this, does that, but no, like that's fucking what happened. And it was
you're
smart
right.
that they went to him, but just the fact that the local media, and I know they covered it, like Ted Daniels and the girl at Channel 4 there, but they it was fucking, they weren't on it like they should have been. It was like, this is a huge story, and my father was like, he's fucking 80, 81, like he's fucking down, he goes down for the Knights members bar, plays cribbage with the boys. He's like, oh, I'm so sick of hearing this fucking Carrie. That's all they fucking talk about. Oh my God, I don't give a fuck. I don't watch OJ either. But I said, Dad, it's not just a run-of-the-mill murder. And I know people love murder porn these days. I said, it's about the level of corruption, and it's about that they're trying to frame this innocent woman fucking to go to jail. So there's enhanced interest in it. A lot of people, don't want to see that fucking happen. And it's crazy that how close it fucking came.
Right, because it could be you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It could be any one of us.
Could be one of any one of us,
Yeah.
right?
And that's that I've been on juries. I actually one of those few people who likes getting called.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah.
I don't mind. And you do feel the weight of you decide someone's fate, and in 9 weeks, that's a long time to be on it. And there wasn't, like I said, one scintilla of evidence that they did anything. And I felt bad for people who were getting dragged up to the stand by both trials. That like the Albert's kid, the son there, like Brian Albert's son. That kid, that poor kid, like he was fucking nervous. He had nothing to do with anything. Now he's up there with his parents. So he has to, not lie. I don't even think he lied. I think he just played coy or double or whatever. But it's like this kid shouldn't be out there. But and they're all for what? What are these people gonna fucking get out of it? You know what I mean? But
Away with murder.
When this many people, though, someone's going to have either get popped for something and they're going to flip, or they're just going to get a conscience, because it'll come out fucking sometime.
That was the biggest thing. Like, how is everybody in that, like, that was one thing. Like, I know a couple people from Canton that are, like, involved in the community and all that stuff just through hockey, right? My daughter plays for the Terriers.
Oh, you got buddies down there, yeah.
Yeah, so, like the big thing one of them said was, like, it's amazing how not one person has said something within that. Who was in the house? Not one person. Everybody took the blood out.
That's a lot of guys. That's a lot of people.
Right? That's a lot of people. Not to say
no one cracked.
Yeah. That was the big thing about, maybe that's how, like, that was like people try to say that's why she did it, because, like, not all those people, not one person that saw anything, see anything. You kidding me? Like,
but you also got to think, none of those people got arrested and charged.
Nothing.
Right? So if that were to happen, all of a sudden, I think
now there's some pressure on you. That's a good point. Yeah, now
but none of them were up on trial, so they're just anyone. Like, let's keep you quiet, right? Deny, accuse, and they played that card. But if one of those guys does anything wrong, like you said, this could down the road really come back and bite them.
There was no one to put the squeeze on,
right?
You know what I mean?
Because they pointed at her and blamed her and figured, well, we'll get away with this because we'll get in. And it backfired.
And how the dingbats going on, like ABC doing interviews. It's like, just like the Proctor was like, dude, just go away. Like, he's up there still denying, like, we're not friends. It's like, bro, the fucking dude was a ring bearer in your sister's wedding. Got the shit. You've been in the town for 100 years. Like, you all know each other. Who are you trying to fucking tell Aunt Millie and fucking Dubuque, fucking, like, to convince her? Like,
Dubuque.
It's over, man.
We used to call Dubuque because they had a team in the USHL.
The
Fighting Saints.
It did feel like justice. But I've been on probably 3 or 4 trials, man. I actually was on one. I didn't know if a judge can just fucking basically call a fucking trial, like basically, no, doesn't get to avert the case. The state's case was so bad. It was a alleged domestic violence, but it didn't seem like anything really happened. It seemed like the cops just arrested the guy. They didn't like him, and the woman testifying was annoyed to be there. And we're all like sitting there, like, what the fuck? Like, judge like, approach the bench to the lawyer. She's like, all right, jurors, I'll see you in the room. And she's like, all right, trial's over. Like, what? Like, not even 2 hours in, like, no delay. It was like,
shut it down.
She just shut it. I was like, holy shit. Like,
wow.
I didn't know that could be a thing. And another one I was on, fucking, it sucks. You're there 3 days watching the whole thing, and then, like, you get drawn as an alternate. I was like, Price is Right on. I was like, shit, man, I want to, like, be on it. And it was a wicked quick verdict, because, like, why is this even here? And the judge come in, and the judge, when they come in after, they're very, like they're real about it. They don't just,
the judges are cool.
They
really
are. And they answer your questions, and we were like, everybody raised their hand, and they had the same question, like, why was this even at trial?
Right.
And she was like, they went to a grand jury and they returned an indictment. So, like, we got to, because it's a lesser standard there. And so they had to fucking, like, basically go through the fucking motions. But, it's always interesting to take part in that shit. I know people get bored with it, but.
I was on a malpractice suit. It was interesting. And, it was like the lady, the mother, I mean, actually the daughter got a lot of money from it, from the doctor's malpractice, not finding something. It was like a lung cancer situation, and like it metastasized and all that kind of stuff. And like the doctor had the x-rays prior to, didn't, obviously missed it, or didn't say, oh, no, it was no big deal, or just kind of, and then it just went on from there. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've been called a few times. I've never actually made a jury.
Yeah,
so it is. I mean,
well, then you just call Boston Bob and you get out of it.
No, true. I always use the I work hourly, and if I miss work, I don't get paid, and they let you go every time. So that's the 3 times I said, Your Honor, I can't get stuck here because I won't get paid. And they said, all right, dismissed.
It was like Homer Simpson. Just tell them that you're prejudiced against all races and people, and they'll let you go.
I hate everyone, Your Honor.
But and you said you were down in Aruba. Are you a frequent flyer down there?
I've been 4 times. And I would go 40 more times.
Oh, yeah.
Best place in the world.
It is.
Really is.
It's like the consistently great vacation. Like that's why Northeast people love it down there.
Big Boston destination.
Like great food. Obviously, on an island in the Caribbean, the weather's great. The
no
people,
crime.
No riffraff down there.
No crime.
Yeah.
I mean, barely any crime. It's amazing down there.
And then you get on the Cuckoo Canuku.
Oh yeah, good stuff. And like very family friendly too.
Oh
like,
yes,
kids down. Yeah, we did the pirate ship.
We did that Jolly Pirate.
Yeah.
Bar down there, Carlitos. I talked about it.
Carlito Brigante.
It's funny because it's all Boston stuff.
Oh,
and
no
I asked
shit,
the
huh?
guy, "What's up with the bar?" And he said, "It's my clientele." He started playing Red Sox games. Everyone showed up,
Smart fucking
and
move.
I still need to get picture proof of
No,
that
we got a
t-shirt.
zebra with a zebra down
They
there.
put the shirts and stuff up, like they have a Bork shirt and they have T-shirts, Medford this and that, and I gave him a zebra shirt to put up. So
Nice.
I need picture proof. I'll have to go back.
We want to
I'll
go.
have to go
We
back.
actually we're talking about going down. We went probably 10 years ago, maybe I don't know, and then we want to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
we're probably going to go back next year.
Xander Bogaerts, Arubian,
Oh, yeah.
first Arubian in the MLB, and Boston Red Sox.
Oh, shit.
Should have retired as a Boston Red Sox, but that's a whole nother
Yeah.
discussion, right?
Fucking Red Sox.
What do you? We could do this all night.
But I don't. Yeah, I'm nothing to do
No,
about it.
we have nothing to do either.
So I thought Einstein was off on a little thing, but I mean, if you look back to Belgium in 23,
The Germans?
when they
forget
bombed
it.
Pearl Harbor.
Forget it. He's rolling. Oh,
When
fucking
the
hell.
Germans bombed Pearl Harbor. No, your take for the Bruins right now. Like where are we going? Because we talked about it last episode. We brought up Swayman for McDavid and some type of package. Josh said he wouldn't do it. He didn't want McDavid here in Boston, which
Wait,
we had him tested. But
sorry, a trade of Swayman McDavid. Is there an angel dust exhaust
Well,
vent in here?
no, that
Someone-
was just an idea. That was just something that we like.
No.
If that, not that it actually is happening, or there's a rumor.
Yeah.
But what do you think they should do?
I think right now it's not strip it down. I know a lot of people want to do that. I think it's a rebuild on the fly. They got some good pieces there. McAvoy, Pastor obviously. Yep. I hope they keep Geeky. They should. He's RFA. I like Lowry. I mean, he's a bit of a wildcat.
They re-signed him for 2
re-upped
years.
him.
Yeah.
I like him. I don't know why Zadorf became the whipping boy. Well, I know why, because he takes some. You guys see the penalties. He takes a few penalties
takes
here and
some-
there.
But Lori's like a minus 100.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's just a wild card. But
my problem with Zadorov was that you come in here touted as a number 2, right? You're really a number 5 in the way he played anyway.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily a penalty. He's a big guy.
He's a
gonna
good
take
piece.
penalties.
I think he's a good piece to have.
He gave
And,
the puck away. Fucking every other time he had the puck, he gave it to the wrong team.
I loved the signing when they made it based
too.
on what he did in the previous playoffs with Vancouver.
Right.
I loved the way he played. I think he got better when Sacco came in. I don't know if Monty wasn't using him right or whatever. I think he's a great team player. I don't know who touted him as a number 2. I mean, he's like,
Well, when they signed him,
he's
it
your
was like,
second pair
we
D.
got,
He's not-
we got
he's-
Zadorov and
And then if you have a really good decor, he's an
Yeah.
unbelievable sixth
he's been
defenseman,
traded
right?
5
Like
times though.
Yeah.
that says something.
Gretzky
This
played 4 teams. I'm sure I'm both busting your balls. Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
true.
well, nowadays everybody moves.
Exactly.
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
guys do it. And I always say, hey, that just means another team wants you, right?
Yeah, right.
But I love the sign. I think he's a middle pair guy. And even if he's on the bottom, whatever. He's $5 million. That's not a lot of money with the
Right.
cap going up.
Right.
But he's a he's a bruiser you need your own and
Yep.
to clear the crease out. I like the guy. I think Bruins fans will probably regret bitching about him. But it's Swayman. Yeah, he had a shit year because why? Because the Bruins hardballed him over a small amount of money. So he fucking held out, didn't have camp, was late to the season, and then you're playing on a fucking shitty team that is about to fire the coach. So it's just like, he had a bad year, no doubt about it. I think he's going to come back and shut a lot of people up. I think in small sample size, but I think I've watched enough hockey to say I watched 2 playoffs fuck on him. He's the real deal, man. I have
No
no
question.
doubt that kid's capable of getting it done.
Yeah, I have no question about Swayman. It's just like, let's build the team around him now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, don't just ship him off, and if you do, you got to get something.
Don't see the trade. I feel that a lot of stuff comes from and I like Felker and Maz. They've been good to me, good guys, but I think they start a lot of conversations in this town that just like bullshit. Like the idea the Bruins
do, yeah.
just signed Swayman and then they're gonna trade him and what? Who now you got a hole in the crease? They bring the kid from Providence? No. So I think he's proven commodity. They got rid of. I thought Sweeney was great at the deadline. I mean, okay, we're not going to the playoffs. Like, let's unload all fucking whatever we can unload. All you UFAs. Like look
Milistad,
Look at all the assets he brought back. Draft picks. This kid. In the USHL, he was just their leading. I can't think of his name. He just led the USHL goals.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, they got some good pieces back, and they got tons of cap room now. In Boston, it's a destination. Guys will come here. Like, it's I know it's not Miami or New York, but no, Boston's a coveted place to come, and they got tons of dough. I mean, they're not far from being a contender. I don't know about this year, but it doesn't take long.
They could put a good product on the ice this year.
Yeah, the idea of a 5-year rebuild is
no way.
Those are dead. It's 2-3 years.
No, they're a playoff team.
So
they should be
Sweeney,
playoff.
if you're Sweeney, who do you go after in free agency? Because there's some big names out there.
I feel like I got a cheat sheet and look at the list because I
wish I had a cheat sheet too. Yeah.
Do you think they should? I don't know if it happened, but would Marchand come back? Should they go after him?
I think I don't think he's going to be back because they couldn't agree on an extension before, and I think now that Marchand he's going to get way more money now, and also he's probably hungry for another ring. I bet he stays in Florida, man. I mean, I thought he was a Hall of Famer before this last ring. Now
it's solidified him.
No question.
Make a third one, live in Florida. Make more money, the whole state tax thing, but I'd be shocked if he come back to Boston.
I said if Marchand and Bennett are smart, they'd maybe take a little discount, stay in Florida, and win another 2 or 3 cups. I think because that team is built just to win.
Exactly. I think that's exactly what you'll see. Take less. And ironically, Marchand took less for all those years here.
Yeah.
Because Crosby said it when we interviewed him years ago that paraphrase. If guys don't take less, then you can't win, man. You can't have 2 guys sucking up all the dough. Although Edmonton came close the last 2 years, but I think Marchand stays in Florida, Bennett stays in Florida, and I wouldn't be surprised.
You
if they're back.
Mitch Marner. He's a free agent right now.
I don't have much hunger for
Tavares.
him.
There's another one. Tavares. I wanted him back before when he signed with the Leafs. When he went from the Islanders to the Leafs, I wanted the Bruins to sign. I love his game.
I don't know why.
Tavares.
Toronto. I mean, he's a good player. Toronto should have left that alone and just spent the money on defense and bulked up. They already had enough offense, I thought. But the Bees, they could make the playoffs next year. They could be a fucking bottom feeder. I think, but I think they're in a good position now. I know people wanted Sweeney fired because it's I'm not the biggest Sweeney guy either, but there was one hiccup of a year. They kind of shit the bed on the roster construction, but I didn't think it was valid enough reason to shit can him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think it's people want right now.
Yeah,
right?
oh yeah,
and they
more than
look
ever.
at right now. They don't look at what the assets he brought in, the draft picks and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of his body of work. In the sense of the drafting, anyway.
Yeah, that's his weakness,
right?
No doubt.
But the NHL draft is a fucking crapshoot anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think of how many guys don't, turn into what you think they're going to turn into, but they're coming out and there's this and that, and next thing you know, they have an AHL career.
There was a million American. I worked the American League for 9 years. There was so many people, he was a former number 1 draft pick. He was a number 1 draft. I'm like, this kid was a number 1 draft pick?
Yeah,
I'm like, kid? I'm like...
Who else is on that list? Ekblad. There's another one.
Ehlers. That'd be a great signing.
Brock Bozer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Rocky play. I repped him in North Dakota. He was nasty.
There's a lot of guys out there.
I would take Brock Besser all day long.
All day.
Besser, Ehlers. Yeah, those are
Ekblad is huge. The Bruins have this huge chunk of money, whether or not Jacobs spends it, right? But this is almost like a great year to have that money because you have this list of free agents that there's a lot of fucking talent that is looking to get paid. Claude Giroux, another one.
That's one trope though. The whole I'm not really defend the Jacobs. Jacobs, they're not the worst owners. 30 years ago, but they've been spending to the cap.
Oh, no, they have. Yeah.
Since day one. Yeah, even before the cap, they were always in the top third of spending. So the whole when people have brought Bruins cheap, it's that's just
Sinden days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I say Sinden must be flipping out having 2 Russians on the roster with numbers in the 90s. That must fucking drive him crazy, right?
Right. No, but and it is kind of kind of a misconception of the Jacobs not spending the money.
Yeah.
I just mean they have all this money. Are they going to spend it all? or are they going to hold out? They're going to wait. They're going to, you know what I
get you.
mean?
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
like go for
yeah.
those mid-tier players
Save a
instead of
little.
the list of big-name free agents,
well-
make a big splash, that kind of thing.
I don't think he's going to go anywhere. But I mean, Connor's unrestricted after next season. McDavid,
Yeah.
but he's got to be frustrated, man. It's like
gotta
I
be.
mean, like the 2 years in a row, you know, mediocre goaltending and fucking.
Well, that's if they could have a goaltender.
Yeah, Skinner was like Jekyll and Hyde, man.
Yeah.
Like he'd play lights
Yeah.
out and then
Yeah,
fucking. Then you know,
And Pickard
shit the
did the
bed.
same thing.
Yeah,
Like
he had
he would be lights. Like he came in that game that they came back and won.
Yeah.
And he made saves that he had no business making.
Yeah.
And the next game, it's like
Yeah,
he looks like a fucking beer league guy.
He got a chance, and
You know?
couldn't squeeze it. And then the other end, Bob was like he might have one bad game every 15 games in the playoffs.
Yeah,
He's
he was
fucking
awesome.
consistent, unreal as the games
Yep.
go on, especially in overtime. Just a great player to watch. But did you have any action on it? Did you bet the series?
I try to for my addictive personality, I try to stay away from.
Oh, I
the
wish I
apps.
said that 35 years ago. I probably have a zillion mansions right now.
Don't get me wrong. I play them without actually playing them, but my team, I picked. I hooked my wagon to the Golden Knights this year for a couple of reasons. A friend of ours, we went out and watched the Bruins play there. They got fucking
Bob?
tuned up. But
Bob?
No, he works. He's a
Oh,
kid in
okay.
the office.
Okay.
But I'm a huge Cassidy fan. I think the Bruins' biggest mistake it was firing him. I don't think they should have fired him. That's one thing I kind of hold. Like that was a big mistake, and I think the downward kind of turn was when they fired him. That's just my own personal thing because I thought he was a great coach. Now I know his style kind of has a shelf life, you know, but when you got DeBrusque complaining that he's too tough on him, it's like, come on, fucking toughen up, you know. And then
new
now
generation.
DeBrusque is gone,
Yeah, right, yeah.
and Cassidy goes and wins a cup. But I thought the Golden Knights. I wanted Avalanche, Charlie Coyle. We
I
love
wanted
Charlie
to see
Coyle.
Coyle.
Yeah.
There's talk about him coming back. I would love to see the Bruins get him back. We talked about that. There's another one that is a free agent.
No, it's going to be a couple more years, like legit nasty. San Jose is going to be so.
Yes, they're going to be
yeah.
good.
That Celebrini, like he 4 years, he's going to be like perennial Selke hot Lindsay candidate. That kid, like he hit the wall a little, like all rookies do. But like I was watching that kid.
Is he even 20 yet?
No,
No,
like
he's
he's not
17
even
at
20
BU.
yet.
like his
He was 17.
Yeah.
his two-way game already is like.
Wait till he gets his
wildly
man
impressive.
muscles. Forget it. Like when Pasternak,
Well,
I
exactly.
ref Pasternak when he was in the American League. I was like, don't hit him. Nobody touch him. No.
his vision, his IQ, like, and also like, and this is like, well, not huge as an on-ice player, his personality. He has like there's other stars in the league, young stars, like kind of like they. Guys, like it's fucking eat an edible or something. Like make us laugh, do something. Hey,
Right.
like liven up. They're nice kids, good players, but they just kind of drip some of them. Like, and this kid, man, he's got some pizzazz to him. Like it's not like like a cocky thing. It's like confidence.
Yeah.
He's got some exuberance
you know
in the
who I
game.
like?
They should market the fuck out of him. They
I
should.
liken him to Jack Eichel. In kind of the same, 200-foot player.
Yeah.
Can put the puck in the net a bunch of times,
Played
but
at
also
BU.
he's not a liability on defense, right?
Jack was so good this season.
Oh, he was just
His two-way
lights
game,
out.
Yeah,
he
Lights
was
out.
awesome against McDavid.
That series with McDavid and him on the ice, talk about electric. Holy
How
shit.
fucking dumb is Buffalo?
Right? Think of the people they let go.
I mean, this kid, like, no, you can't get the surgery you want on your own fucking neck, and we're gonna make you do it this way. And it's like, what are you doing, dumbbells? You got a fucking number 2 pick drop fall in your lap, and you're gonna bully him over this, and like, and look at fucking won a cup. He's like this player we all thought he was gonna be now, and
But
it's
Buffalo,
just like,
you looked at
they
Buffalo,
can't get out of their own way.
who they don't have that they could have had.
Oh, yeah.
I liken them to they're like BC. BC, if guys didn't go there for a year and leave, they'd win fucking every national championship.
North Dakota would too, yeah.
It's similar. But Buffalo, think of the players they had that fucking are now gone. There's like 6 guys that, and Eichel being one of them.
O'Reilly, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Ryan O'Reilly was there.
Yeah.
Like it's just insane when you look at that team and they suck. I mean, they could be they could be a dynasty if they didn't fuck up their whole, you know.
I was at one of those like
They got rid of Omar. They had Omar
Yeah.
when he was like legit, like Vesna candidate. They got rid of him.
So did the Bruins.
Yeah,
that's true.
What were we gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say we were at like one of those camps or whatever, and like you asked like the NHL linesmen or the referees anything you want. Someone was like, "Hey, I heard Buffalo was a good city. How's Buffalo?" And the linesman goes, "The only good thing about Buffalo is flying over it."
Well, they call it what is drinking town with a sports problem.
Yes, yeah. Well, the bars are open till 4 a.m. So I have some fun. I have fun in Buffalo. I never
took the words right out of my mouth. Like
I
I know
have fun in
people knock
Buffalo.
it because it's not the most aesthetically pleasing place with all that like brutalist architecture. Like it's just concrete everywhere. But that city is fantastic.
It is.
Man.
I have a good time, yeah.
If you're thinking of a roadie with football, like hockey, whatever, Buffalo's great. Like I said, the bars open till 4. Dynamite restaurants.
Yep.
A lot of hot honey dips popping in the bars as well. And plus, when you drive over that bridge to Kelly Island, if you're going to the what's that? Where the fucking rinks. Where we had the Chiclets Cup, I can't think of the name. You can actually at the General Mills factory.
I know where you were at. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You can smell Cheerios and like Lucky Charms when you're going over that bridge.
Yeah.
I was there once. We played a
there all the
tournament there in
time.
college. Curry, we went out and played in a tournament out there. Geneseo, there was like 4 teams, but I don't remember much about it.
Oh yeah,
So
Buffalo.
I'm there
You'll have
like
to go back.
3-4 times a year. I'm up there. I'm supervisor official with Atlantic Hockey, so I'm up there with
Okay.
Canisius and all those schools up there.
maybe we should. Maybe I should go next time.
Yeah,
Try it out.
let's do it.
Try out Buffalo.
I actually made it. I didn't bet the series. I actually made a killing off the final though, because I thought it was a coin flip. I didn't really have feelings one way or the other. I bet a couple of the individual games, but dude, the best prop I saw in DraftKings, shout out hashtag DK partner. It was the game. You got to bet it before the game for the best odds. Game goes to OT and player X scores the game winner. So it's like, and I was like, oh, these games are going to be close. I think we'll get some OT. And so game 2, I had 5 different guys in that overtime. Where if one of them scores, I'm going to hit. So now again, the odds insane. So I had Marchand at 90-1, Perry at 90-1. Again, you're betting these before the game. If the game don't go to OT, then obviously they lose. I had Kapanen 160-1. Pud Colson 160-1. And I had fucking Gustav Forsling because he had an awful game 1, and then he was lights out the rest.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's going to bounce back tonight. So I bet him too. 350-1. So I put 100 on each of these guys. So I'm sitting there down the nights with all my boys, and I'm like, boys, we got 5 different guys right now. If any one of them scores, like I'm like, if Forsman scores, fucking fillets on me if all like the rest of the weekend, And well, then remember Marchand hit the post, and my father texted me. He's like, oh, fucking $9,000 post, and then Kapanen had the breakaway.
Yep.
160 went boom. I texted my dad back, $16,000 saved right there. You get stuffed on the breakaway, but then Marchand ends up winning it.
scoring.
So on a $100 bet, $9,000, like fucking.
Thanks for coming.
I threw money in the bar. One of my other boys hit it too. We were going nuts, but it was like insane drama to have 5 different dudes. If one of these guys scores, I'm gonna make a bundle. So that was game 2.
That's cool though.
Hit the
$500 to win $9,000.
100 bucks.
But you bet 5, right?
Oh, 5 every right. I'm
So
sorry.
500
yeah,
and you win $9,000.
Spread
That's
Well, we're not
field,
counting all the other bets. Those are just the prop bets.
We don't tweak.
So no, he won the way he was thinking. Yeah, he won $9,000.
But still,
That's what
the ROI is excellent.
We don't tweet losers here. We don't tweet losers. And then I hit the next game, same bet. And because Leon, I'm like, best goal scorer in the world right now. Where the fuck are you getting 35 to 1 odds? Again, the game has to go to OT. But had Leon that game. I had a few other guys. Boom.
And that goal was so.
Yeah, hit the defenseman.
What frustrated me about
I thought
Edmonton,
Perry scored it. Yeah.
Draisaitl and McDavid especially is they just didn't shoot the puck enough.
Yeah,
Every time they'd have it in the slot, they'd try to make this perfect pass.
Smothered, yeah.
Right? And Draisaitl, fucking one hand bullshit, just throw it at the net and it goes in the net.
Yeah, thanks, Leon. And, dude, I was like, honestly, like this is probably the most I've made, like the hottest series I've ever had, like one series, because the Bruins 1 year ago I made a killing, but we're not going to talk about numbers. Government might be listening. But next game, Marchand, 18-1, score the first goal. I was watching my dad. I watched all couple of my dad. It was great. So I put 200 on that. Boom. Marchand, first goal next game. And then game 6, well, I put this bet in before game 1. Was Conn Smythe. I'm like, hey, Dad. I'm like, dude. I'm like, Bennett's 30-1. I says, he's got 10 goals. I goes, if he
was
scored
30-1
before game 1. I says, if he scores, if they win and he scores a few goals here, how does he not get it? I said, they're not going to give it to McDavid because score 80 points this series. If they lose, they're not going to give it to him 2 years in a row.
Right.
I says, Marchand, I think he was 100-1. He obviously had a great series, but it's the whole playoffs.
Right.
So yeah, he was 30-1 before the playoffs, and I popped that too.
Wow,
nice. So like I can show you, like, if you're listening to any enemies, I can show you my DraftKings like for the year. But you brag about your winners, I had a great series. So thanks, Marchand.
It keeps you going, right?
That's awesome. Divorce lawyer.
That's awesome.
Man. Maybe I should download that app.
Yeah.
No, don't. I get the bug. Yeah, it's the Irish thing. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
No, but believe me, I know.
Coin.
I want to go back to Aruba. We could do this all night.
I don't. It's midnight right now. I don't give a shit.
I don't even know how long this one was. Usually we shoot for an hour and then it goes.
Well
off the rails.
A quarter of it.
I don't even know. But it's been awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, this might be. You might have to come on again.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, you can right. I'll talk the ears off a fucking statue, buddy. We go all night. Talk about anything. I don't care.
Take a dog off a roast beef.
But I am on Chirping Zebras, so I feel like I gotta mention like one dude's name is Ray Scapanello. He's a dude.
Yes.
Like
legend.
Yeah. Just one of those like guys you just remember watching hockey for all those years. It's funny when you watch like a game in the '70s when he still set some salad up top. But he was always hustling. I think he like epitomized like the guys in stripes. Like
he did.
He did a terrific job. He got along with the players great. The players loved the hell out of him. Like So I guess I just.
And he wasn't a big guy.
No, he was a little shit, but he was a hustler, great skater.
Always breaking up
fights.
fights.
One of the greats.
So yeah, I just want to give Scapolo a shout out while I'm on the.
I like it.
All right, right on. Have to get him on.
Yeah.
And Paul Stewart too, a local guy. Got to give the
episode
city,
2.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
Episode 2. Stu Cat was on, and no one loves Stu more than Stu. And he has some great
was awesome.
stories.
He was great.
Talking about hanging with Putin.
I've known him for a long
really?
time.
That episode was incredible. Geno said 4 words.
Yeah.
He just went off.
I said, "Hi, Stu."
Stu is awesome. He's like, his stories are second to none.
Where is he? Does he still live local?
He's down the Cape.
Yeah, he's down the Cape.
He lives down the Cape now, yeah. But we had, like we mentioned, Frazier on, Koharski, Stewie. We've had Derek Amell, 24 years, linesman. We had Vaughn Rohde, my buddy Vaughn, from originally from Vancouver, talk about nice Canadians. He had 22 years in the NHL as a linesman. Rooney said the day after he retires, he's coming on.
Chicka.
Yeah, he might be our third member.
He might be, yeah. And trying to think of other NHL guys we've had.
I know we're gonna get a whole bunch. I know
we're working on a few people.
Yeah. What's good
for sure.
Going like some interviews,
Murph.
They're like
Murph, yeah.
Well, no, not all rolled. Some not always a roll of the dice, but sometimes you don't know what you're getting. But like the one interview we had, and people say, "What's the funniest interview you ever did?" And when we interviewed Timmy Stapleton, he probably should have got a proper shot at the NHL. He played a few games, I think, with Winnipeg. He was undersized when that was still a fucking deterrent, but the kid had unbelievable skill. And I had heard his name, I didn't know him, but we interviewed him in a hotel room in Chicago that time, and he had a couple pups while we were talking. Me, him, and Biz. Honestly, like half hour in, I thought we were like front row at the Apollo Theater on a Saturday night. This kid was so goddamn funny. Like
no kidding.
he's just like kind of dry, sarcastic, unreal storyteller. That's where like one of the first Russian stories like told. Mm-hmm. He's the one who like when he'd go on a road trip and he'd come home and like he would like notice like things were just sort of like. Did I leave that there? It was like a little out of whack. Like, I don't remember. Something seems off here, whatever. And then one time he come home like from a trip early or whatever, a game got canceled, and he fucking over his daughter's apartment. There's a fucking family in there living there. While he was on the road, they were renting out his fucking apartment to some family. So he could go and there's a family living in his house in Russia. Yeah, but go listen to him tell the story. It's a zillion times better than I just did. But he was like legit fucking hilarious. Like come out of nowhere. Like like a guy who most listeners probably had never heard of, but. It's nice when you get an interview like that,
Oh, yeah.
Like Mick Vukota, like what we had him.
Yeah.
Oh, like former Islanders, tough guy.
Yeah.
And he lives down, I want to say the Vineyard, and he reached out on DM on Instagram. And it's like, I'm like, I've been on these internet streets a while. I mean, he ain't catfishing my ass, but like, we reached out on the phone. I'm like, oh, this guy's legit. Like, he's like, oh, tell me when I'll take the ferry up and come on. And we interviewed him with a Back Bay, man. That was like probably a top 5, top 10 interviews we did. Yeah. He just let it fly. Great stories and funny bastard. So yeah, it's those are the ones that, you're like, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this,
Yeah, no, like John Newberry was one that comes to mind. Former Canadian. Peter Burrell. We had Peter Burrell on. He was one of the associate directors on Slapshot.
Oh no shit!
Talking about some back scene
he was really
story.
cool.
Yeah. He had some great shit.
Actually, they just lost. They just lost another cast member. Billy Charlesbois passed away.
Oh no way!
I forget his government name, but he passed away last week. That's about the 5th cast member to die in the last couple of years. Yeah.
Well, I mean what did they come out? 1977.
1977.
I think it was.
Yeah. So yeah.
Greatest hockey movie ever.
No
for my
doubt.
money.
No doubt. Absolutely.
What's your greatest sports movie? Or favorite sports movie?
I mean,
outside of Slapshot.
Okay, yeah,
Slapshot, you got to put in its own category.
Put that
That's not even in a discussion because Slapshot's the best.
Oh, let me see. Baseball, basketball, football. You know what? Major League is like in the running. It's in the back. And it's fine.
Top.
Baseball, I don't even really pay attention much anymore. But Bad News Bears, that's the OG
classic.
one. I guess you could do it for each sport, right? Football.
That's what we usually do.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's probably the way to do it. Football, North Dallas 40. That's an old one
movie.
that it's a
great movie.
But it's the same shit. It was about like making painkillers and steroids, all the stuff back in the 70s. Nick Nolte.
Yep.
What's the fucking good football movie?
I love The Program just because
Unnecessary Roughness.
Oh, jeepers, see, basketball. Oof. There's not a lot of bass like
Hoosiers.
Yeah, that's the obvious one.
And he got game.
Celtic Pride.
Celtic Pride.
He got game.
Awful.
White men can't jump.
That's a good one. Actually,
that's a good one.
Documentary, Hoop Dreams. You ever see that?
No.
One of the best documentaries ever about two black kids in Chicago. The title Hoop Dreams. They're trying to make it in basketball and all the shit that they go through in life. Living in the city. It's legit one of the best sports docs, or just docs in general. Check it out. Yeah, Hoop Dreams. We see basketball, football, baseball. Another hockey movie. I know Miracle. That's the obvious one to say.
I always said the miracle of that movie was no one said fuck. Not one fuck in the Miracle movie. In the movie Miracle. Not one. It's a miracle. Mystery Alaska. It's completely far-fetched.
Yeah.
But it's that opening scene. Yeah. Best opening scene. Him skating up the river. I mean, come on.
Gorgeous to look at.
David E. Kelly. He was the person that made that movie.
He's married to Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Yeah, he did all those freaking NYPD Blue.
Yeah,
he did all those,
probably got
LA Law.
He
did all those. I sent my movie script to him, or I tried to anyway, but I wasn't represented.
Yeah, if I prepped, I could probably name you like 15 movies, but I'm a space cadet right now.
Young Blood.
Oh God, that's so cheesy. Yeah.
It's
it is good.
And the fact that, there's no way Rob Lowe would beat up Racky, cut the shit.
It's funny too.
I met Racky.
You met Racky.
Slapshot, was actually written by a woman.
Yeah.
Nancy Dowd. Because her brother
Ned
Dowd played Ogie Oglethorpe.
Ned Braden.
And he carried a recorder.
No, Ogie.
Ogie Oglethorpe. He played Ogie.
She would hear these stories and oh my God, and she started writing the script, and she was really ahead of the curve too, about the finances and teams moving, and there's a lot of sharpness to that movie that was kind of reading the tea leaves a bit.
There's a great book Peter Burrell turned me on to called The Making of Slapshot. And it goes back to the history of not only the league and the teams, but then how the movie came together, how they cast it, how they found, because a lot of them are high. Peter Burrell's episode I forget what number it was. Phenomenal. Because he tells not only Paul Newman stories, like cut the shit, right? But he has some great stories, insight.
I'd fuck Paul Newman.
Who wouldn't? Right? Yeah. I've admitted about a few people, namely Tom Brady. But it's a great insight into that movie. But that making of Slapshot, I actually got it on Audible, believe it or not. It's on tape because I can't read. I mean, I can read. I just don't like to read. But it's a great book.
Another one, Goon. I'm a big Goon fan. I love
Dougie
Jay
Smith.
Baruchel.
Friend of the show.
A lot of people
friend
don't
of our
realize
shows.
that's based on a true
episode 6,
story.
I think, or 7. He was on early here.
I actually went to the premiere down in New York City of Goon. Yeah, because Jay Baruchel.
Yep.
So I think he wrote it. He didn't direct. He wrote it. They bought.
Right.
Oh shit! I got a fucking cramp.
We've been talking this long. We're cramping up.
I know, dude. I look a little groggy. It's my first time, fucking my first single summer in fucking 24 years. So I look a little tired.
The waterfront was hopping last night.
Gotta get advertising out there.
You got to put the futures on. Now that's a sport I would bet. I'm single too, by the way. So
here we go.
Just so no one thinks I'm speaking out of line.
I basically given Jay grief on Twitter, not like asshole grief like all this now. He has because during the Canadian series or whatever, we were going back and forth, and he reached out. He was like, "Hey, you want to come to?" I think I asked him, "Oh, you doing a premiere in Boston?" He's like, "No, New York and Montreal." He goes, "You want to come to one of them?" I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
So I took the train down to New York, watched the premiere, and I never actually met him before. And then I was, after I was waiting over to just say hi and thank you, whatever. And he come over and he's like Magoo, and I was like, how the fuck? That's my nickname from my child. I was like, how do you know that? He's like, your email address. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, what's up? It was hilarious. The first time I meet Jay Baruchel, he calls me Magoo. And we had an after party hanging out with the director and all this shit, and then he had a bunch of people there, and the Hanson brothers were there.
That's
and
awesome.
I got me and him, took a picture, and I was standing there with him. I was like, I feel like I'm sitting here with Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, and Chewbacca right now. It's kid who grew up watching Slapshot. They're your movie heroes. So fucking dynamite, just hanging out with those guys. And then I went to the Goon 2 premiere up in Toronto too. Jay's a great dude.
Yeah.
Did you see that actually movie he did, Blackberry?
No.
I heard about it.
Him and Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny. Awesome flick. It was a Canadian flick. It's about. It's about the making of the Blackberry.
It
sounds like
I want to see it. Yeah.
Mike boring. Who cares about a phone? It's awesome. It's a dynamite flick, and he's awesome in it. Jay's wicked good. Also, while we're on Canadian movies too, back to Kiso. He played Don Cherry in a Canadian TV series 10 years ago. I don't know if it's streaming somewhere. Rent it. He actually won the Canadian Emmy equivalent there for playing Don Cherry. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Good shit. So yeah.
Don Cherry, 91.
Yeah.
He just turned 91.
91.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Grapes. Boston
Right?
legend. Absolutely.
Well, I'm sure. The cast of Shoresy's playing the Bruins alumni again at the Garden, December 7th.
Yeah.
I'm already lobbying to be a referee in that one. I have a feeling that the 2011 team is going to come back for that one. I don't know. They came back for the Warrior for Life game last year.
Okay.
That's when I got shot by a Navy SEAL. And I'm heading out to Montana before Alaska for the Face Off of Heroes.
Nice.
They're doing that. The Warrior for Life Fund. They're bringing the Navy SEALs, the Army Rangers, and then I think a dozen NHL guys. Eli Frady, Andrew Alberts, Frank Simonetti, good friend of the show. And I'm gonna go out there do some comedy, and Kevin Miller's hosting it.
Oh, no shit, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
And
he was great. We
gonna
had him on. Yeah,
ref some
I
games.
reffed him
He
in
was
the American
awesome.
League.
Warrior,
he was awesome.
yeah.
Oh, he was awesome. But yeah, I'm heading out to do that. So I'm already lobbying. I think it should be a 4-man game. Donnie Garcia.
I'm lining. I'm not reffing that.
Donnie, Dougie, you and I.
Let's do it.
Should be the foursome. Of the referees.
I've never been to Montana, man. That's one state
That's one state I haven't. And I'm missing 3 or 4.
I have 5
no
left.
shit.
I have 5 left, and I'm hitting 2 of them. And
Wyoming,
couple
Montana.
weeks.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I got a lot to go.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Those are the 3.
Never been to Oregon?
No.
You didn't do Portland when you went
No,
out
that
that
Portland
swing?
wasn't around. No, I flew
kidding.
into Seattle and drove up. So I've been to Washington, but
All right.
I've
Been to
in
Iowa?
Yeah, I lived in Omaha. Drive through Iowa.
No, not I. I'm sorry, Idaho.
No, you the hoe. Yes, I've been Idaho.
Idaho, Alaska.
Yeah.
Have
Oh,
you been
Idaho's
there?
great.
Boise?
Boise.
The Steelheads?
Yeah. No, it's noisy in Boise.
What's that? What's that place? That lake there that everyone, all the fucking.
Lake Havasu?
No, in Idaho, Coeur d'Alene or Coeur d'Alene or something.
Idaho?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a big. Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all we're around Gaza is what they call it, Guzzler. Gaza, the big golf like ranch place. You never, yeah, like Gretzky, like all like the fucking loaded dudes go there, like Mark Gretzky, like
Really?
yeah, that's like the rich dude playground in the summer.
I got a story about Idaho, but I can't tell.
I
it
got
on
the
podcast.
biggest boo in Idaho because of Johnny A. Bear. He worked game 1 of the finals. I was working game 2. There was a kid that was known for diving, right? So he went down soft. Whole crowd thought it should have been a fucking penalty. Wasn't a penalty. Cincinnati goes down, fucking sieves the game winner home. They're fucking booing him. I step on the ice for my fucking hot lap, and the whole fucking place erupted. It was awesome. I was like, I didn't even do nothing yet. And I'm like, what the fuck? I go, yell at him. He's the one getting high and not me. Now he's working cup finals. Right? And I'm on a podcast.
Hey, it's Chirping Zebras.
Yeah,
Come on.
Chirping Zebras. Nah, it was fucking funny, though. That's my Idaho story. There you
I
go.
don't- were they the Steelheads?
They were, yeah.
Yeah, the Steelheads. They had a pretty cool logo, actually.
Yeah, really cool.
That was a good
They were in the
yeah.
West Coast Hockey League when I went out there. I did the Idaho, and then I did Tacoma. They had a team, too. The Wildcats, I think they were, when we did the swing in the WHL for the NHL.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
fly over Montana. We're going to was it Edmonton?
Okay.
Yeah, Edmonton's like just right north.
right above, yeah.
Right above
So
it.
that was a great time being in a Canadian city during the Cup, man.
I can
must
imagine.
have been incredible.
Shit. Plus, like you come out of the game, it's still light out up there. It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
Like, 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, they
yeah.
do. Oh, they have that like Alaska.
Yeah.
It's like
it was
dusk a little.
good shit. Still recovering.
You're cramping up for fuck's
I
sake.
know. I need some more water.
And I got
These young huskies keep me out late.
We're going to get him an IV. Brian, this was awesome.
No, this is
man.
great. Too.
Yeah, this was awesome.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for,
coming on.
yeah,
No,
thanks for coming on.
My
Yeah.
pleasure, man. I know it's a long time coming, and it was a little tough stuff to get there for a while. It was,
We got it done.
Wading through the
We got
muck, but here I am, and it was a pleasure, and I'd love to do it again.
Yeah, no.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, appreciate it. Episode 69.
Oh,
Everybody
nice.
giggle. Everybody giggle. Because that's what you do
I know
when you
what
say
I'm doing tonight.
69. I'm not going to say it. Episode 69. Fine. I don't know why I can't.
We want to thank AOA Studios.
Yeah.
We want to.
Every freaking show. This is like a date in 9th grade. I don't know how to fucking end it. Want to thank AOA Studios for their being an awesome studio and all their
And
editing
loyalty.
And whatnot. Referees Crease, your one-stop shop for all your refereeing needs.
Yep.
Our sponsor right now. And if you're looking to sponsor a podcast, by all means, reach out. Find us on the social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and
The TikTok.
thank you. Like and subscribe on YouTube. We're almost at 1,000.
Yeah, we're getting
almost
there.
at 1,000, so we're going to start making money. We're going to be rolling in it. And fuck it, that's it. Thanks for watching. For Brian McGonagle, otherwise known as R.A., Geno, Binda Jr., Josh Dolan, the crew here at AOA Studios, I'm Mark Riley. We'll see you next time right here on the Chirping Zebras.